question he asked.
They draw the human body. It's beautiful in all its forms.
It's a weird cat.
Yeah.
So look at that famous old. Never mind.
No. Keep it going.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
How much further can you go with it? Like, that's interesting.
You know, it's like.
I'm invested at this point.
Think about like Sistine Chapel, or like certain old works of art. A lot of times.
Yeah, that's a cool church you got. I'm gonna draw a bunch of dicks on the ceiling. Sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of.
They do that.
That's right.
Teach the philosophies that they believed in. Perfectly normal thing to find, I would think.
My man philosophizing on drawing penises.
Philosophizing.
Can you hear me?
He pontificating titties.
Pontificating. So, on a 1, that is all you'll be able to find for your turn.
That's fair.
So, you can definitely just, as you walk forward into the room, you can take from the first things that you brush up against.
Sure.
Roll a 1d6.
Just sends himself flying into the air.
That's a 5.
With a 5, you cautiously walking along the wall. Find the other bookshelf that had the 2 long shelves with 6 or 7 books in them. So, running your fingers along the top of it, because you know that there's books lining all along both rows. But along the top of it, you feel dust, and then your hand does rest over something. It must be like a china plate. It's sitting there ornamentally on the long drawer. It's covered with dust.
It's a matte china plate, no. It's just china plate.
Yeah, it's just a china plate.
Sick.
The looting continues.
Sounds like a frisbee to me.
My man. That's a great idea. That's what I was thinking. Either I was thinking that or a shield. I think that would be pretty funny.
He's gonna protect himself with fine china.
Yeah. I can't see it. It's big and broad.
I mean, do you want to take a random book from the 2 shelves below?
Sure.
So will you just reach down and just pull one out and put it in your inventory?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, for now it's just a random book.
Yeah. I'm gonna put book with like air quotes.
So you just turn around and you're just like.
Excuse me. Sick.
So
That's awesome.
that everybody got to do 1 turn of subjective looting. Good evening, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Thank you, sir, for tuning in. They just did a round of looting in the room that the scholars were generous enough to set them up in a room, a commons room, in their recluse manner for the night. They woke up and decided immediately to loot the room.
It's a good idea.
Easy pickings.
I got this really smooth shield, kind of thin. Talking about the china plate.
It feels.
Could also be used as a hat.
It's true. Do you want a hat? I'll give him the fine china hat.
Nice. I've acquired a frisbee.
It's a china.
I throw the china plate at the window.
Immediately.
See, go ahead.
Wait till we leave. No.
With a 3, it's a little heavier than you're expecting because it's easily made of glass. You throw it with a.
I didn't know that.
I'm still throwing it.
You throw it with a frisbee-like motion. It all of a sudden you hear a sound as it busts straight through the glass window. There were some thin wooden panes in between, and those got busted out as well, sending almost all of the glass and wood busting out of the window. You just hear a and the tinkling of glass, and then silence. You listen. You didn't hear anything. Who will go up to the window?
I'll check it out.
Drum walks up to the window and looks over. I mean, it's only a little bit, because this is one of the back commons rooms to where this building is nestled against the mountain. And so it's just almost straight down to where it's the Shimmerset Lake that comes right around. So it must have floated out and somehow coasted somehow out. It isn't broken on the ground below. It isn't broken up against the mountain, the rock side. It must have sailed out and floated into the lake. It's the only thing you can think.
There was one skinny plate.
But then again, there is the tinkling of glass far down there below. Could the shards of the plate be among them?
Perhaps.
Probably.
Part of me wants to follow that plate just to test my diving abilities. But it's also a long walk back up here.
That's true.
Oh, well, one turn did go all the way around. So actually at that point, there is a light rapping, a light on the door.
I'll answer it.
Sprinkles strides over to the doorway. Opening it, there's a scholarly fellow. You recognize him. He's the older fellow with the glasses, taller. It's like, oh, yes, you're awake, yes.
Good morning.
Says,
Welcome back.
he says, it's how everyone's been talking about you.
Oh. What have they been saying?
It's like, oh well, Forel has requested your presence again. Will you come with me?
Yeah, let's go see him.
Yeah. Let's go see for real.
He says, yes, good, good, yeah, yes, good. Follow me.
What's this guy's problem?
Oh, you want to ask him that?
No. That would be very mean. Why do you talk like that?
Oh man. So then the four of you.
I'll play Tavern Ditty while he's leading us.
Nice. Go ahead. Well, with a 2, the Tavern Ditty you play is more just like a slow melody, a thrum, thrum, thrum.
It's going as slow as he is, isn't it?
He is shuffling along, and although it seems that he's an older scholar amongst them, he seems to move slowly through the crowd, stopping short as someone walks past him one way and waiting for someone before they go around to go up the steps. Yeah, he seems to be timid, I guess, to say it that way. But he takes you on a similar path that you had been on before, but this time walking out of the commons room. You're high up on one of the higher up stories, so you have to go around and then down a set of stairs, all the while looking over down the 4 stories down to the center of the building to where you had come in. So, but going down these steps, you have to kind of turn and go down another, and then walk around the second story for a while, and it's just a bit more of a bustle than normal. A lot of the scholars are, it looks like some of them are walking around with backpacks on and gear with hats. Some of them carrying walking sticks over their backs. It appears that as many of them as you're walking by are casting you surreptitious glances. And you're just like, there's something going on? It seems like a good portion of them as you're walking by seems like they're packing to go somewhere.
Where are all these people going? I can tell that
Maybe there's
a
some
lot
sort
of
of looming
movement.
doom that they're aware of that we're not, and they're leaving before they.
Can I attempt to
fudge
pick
around
somebody's
and find
pocket
out.
who's not paying attention?
I was gonna ask the same.
Yeah, if you have a pickpocket skill while you're bustling down the steps and around the banistered hallway towards the next steps, you can try to pick somebody's pocket. He's looting. That's a 6. I will roll a reaction roll. I hit a 3. So that's definitely enough as you went to walk up toward the lip of the steps where you saw a couple people coming up the steps towards you. You step in front of them and they almost kind of all have to stop short, dropping some things out over the steps. You courteously bend down and help them pick some of their stuff up. They seem frustrated, looking at you like they're in a hurry. There was 2 or 3 of them. But as they get up and shuffle up the steps and walk the direction you just came in, you have one of the books they dropped still in your hands.
What's the title of the book?
Title is the book is called, we'll call it Tectonic Theory.
See.
Alrighty. Okay.
Another in the pocket. Did you also want to try to do something similar?
Yeah, I'd like to try to pickpocket somebody.
You can, though you don't have a skill, you can always try it by trying to roll a d6.
I'm gonna like lean back in the group and get next to Irving and like nudge him and be like, listen to this.
3. Sorry about this. A 6.
Almost. You called it too. I'm just not meant to do that to people.
Me either, bro. That's okay.
So you are going to attempt to do something. He did it so smoothly, so fluidly.
Surely
it
if
seems
the
so
cat can do
effortless.
it.
You're like, surely if the Khajiit can do it, you're like, I'm a strong Namekian, I can go ahead and do it too. So you just walk up and it was like you were going to accidentally bump into this duo. One was a shorter human woman, and one was a taller half-elf fellow. You were going to like act like you were going to bump into them, but you strode towards them a little too deliberately, kind of giving it away. And so as you then accidentally sort of go to pinch yourself into them, you know, he's kind of already stepped in front of her, and he was like, he's like putting his hands up defensively as if to catch you, like to brace himself against you. So continuing with the turn, you just kind of like fall at him, and he's like, just, hey, are you okay? And you're just like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine.
I like to walk away like he's the one scared me. Just like weirdo.
So yeah, despite your best attempt, the guy definitely just saw you coming. Again, the Khajiit made it look so easy. It's like,
I'm gonna look at him and laugh. Yeah, try harder than that, Rudolph.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
Also bad to just be like, I want to nudge him and then just be like, watch this, and then walk off and trot myself. But that's not gonna end well no matter what I try. So we'll go on about our day.
So it does go around this on the second story until it reaches those double sets of steps where there are steps on the other side. So you're coming down, and then there's another wider open arc of steps leading down into the main area of this building. And you can see the passageway you had taken before, which you now have to cross the room to get there. And again, it's very similar with people, you know, a couple people just left, doors opening and shutting. as a lot of people are, looks like they've got bags and things packed, and people with backpacks on, and it seems to be a general commotion of that. And also, people with bags of books, of course, dragging them behind them, and people with them in their coats, of course, and you even see, even one or two people who don't seem to have packed any personal belongings or survival equipment, gear, or tools at all. It looks like all they're packing are books.
Neat.
The fools.
Said book smarts will get me everywhere.
I was just trying to preserve the knowledge in the books. There's probably more knowledge than those people themselves can carry.
It's true.
It is.
That's why we should burn them all.
It's true. Can we set this place on fire?
Who has a fire spell? You got any fire-based abilities?
I can start a fire.
Drum just fire spins the wall.
I can start a fire. I have kindling and I have
That's true.
I think I have gas. I have like fuel or something like kerosene, something like that. Some type of
The
oil.
guy that's leading us is right in front of us here.
Why
and all
are we
this, and
trying
just
to set this
no, it's
place
okay,
on
we're just
fire? I don't want to set it on fire.
I don't.
I mean, if you guys want to, I will.
Jokes.
But
Jokes. I don't. No, I'm cool.
if we're gonna do it, let's do it right. Like,
It'd be easy. There's a lot of paper.
I'm down if they
they
had
piss
it
us off.
coming to
Yeah,
them.
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
All right.
there you go. They stab us in the back
I
like.
mean, we
what's
don't
his
know if
face?
they're taking those books off somewhere for good or evil.
About to find out.
We
Why don't we
just
just
need
set
to-
them on fire?
We just need to talk to the guy.
Yeah, we should just kill them. We should take the books.
Yeah. And then use it for our own nefarious. I mean, our
Plans.
own
We'll have our
plans.
own Shimmer set scholars and have them take care of the books.
Exactly.
What? Do you guys want to do a recruitment role?
On a
That'd be cool.
scholar? That would be sick.
Yeah, I want to attempt to recruit the two that are carrying nothing but books.
Representing Zupindus LLC.
Can we ask to recruit the guy that's like leading us around?
I want to apprentice under the old guy, the level 45 scholar dude,
That's true. I remember you
I
guys
wanna-
talking about that
just to get a few skills so I can find somebody out.
in the last episode.
In the true original honor of this original game, you would of course be able to get NPCs or secret characters, which I guess is what we called them back then, hidden characters, at any point throughout the game. They'd be literally anywhere. So recruitment roles are fine. If you're having to cross this big open section of the room with a doorway. You already know at the other end, down that long stretch of stone corridor, he's going to cast that same sort of magic doorway potion, and you're going to go, that's how he's going to take you there. You already know. You just have to cross this large gap of room first, and it is intermingling with people back and forth, scholars of all different types. So if you're going to single out the ones that are just carrying the books, you'd walk up to them and with your D12, make your pitch.
Howdy there, I'm Slippy with Zupindus LLC. We're a haphazard menagerie of mishaps, and we'd like to recruit you to our efforts, whatever they may be in the future. Also play a little melody on the lyre.
Nice.
What an interesting opportunity here.
We're Zupindus, and the results will be tremendous. If we see a dragon, I hope it doesn't end us.
I'll give you a rave point for that beautiful,
Hey.
that beautiful rhyme. I love it. I love it. So I'm gonna say, because of the way I described it earlier in the scene, that there's exactly two, and if you want to roll a d12, your recruitment roll for one or the other, I'll definitely let you. I'll give them a little more distinction, and that one is a young elf male and one's a young elf female, right? And one of them is we'll say the female appears to have nothing but books on, but she appears to have, as far as what she's wearing, like one of those big high wizard's hats that's kind of set off to the side like this. And she's wearing heavy robes. And the elf guy that's also, you see him further along, up against the wall, scribbling something on a parchment. Nothing but books on. He looks to be taller, more broad-shouldered, and appears to be more like he'd be more into physical arts or hand-to-hand fighting. So between the two of them, you could recruit, well, one or the other, or both, depending on your roles. But one definitely seems like a more magic-using type of scholar, and one seems like a more physically attacking kind of scholar.
I guess the magic one.
I think if we can go for both, it's just logical to go
I
for
guess
both.
do 2 on each.
Yeah.
You can only roll one recruitment roll.
Yeah, I'll
Oh, so we all only one person rolls it.
You all get one roll.
Oh, and we have to do it all for the same person.
No.
Oh, so we can we
Two of us
two of us
can
roll
roll.
one on each?
Sure. Or you can wait for one person to roll before making your decision.
Oh, okay, so if we get one.
Well, I would like to roll for the fighter ones because I am a monk
Yeah, I
and
guess
I
I'll-
like to fight.
I'll roll for the magic.
Yeah, I'll roll for the magic.
What a good point. What a good point.
Plus 3 for the
So then, of the two recruitable characters here, we'll say that
I'll also tell them there's a sign-on bonus of 100 mil.
I'll tell him there's a sign-on bonus of 200 plus his 100.
look at them paying these recruitment bonuses for joining their group. Straight recruitment bonuses.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's like, minions. Come to us, minions.
Yes.
So, if you want to choose the one that you're rolling for before you roll your d12, you definitely can.
I'm gonna choose the magic one. Or are we gonna go
No,
for
that's
the
okay. You got it.
Who wants to roll first?
I'll roll for the magic one first.
Hits an 8. It's close, but on a d12, you have about 8%. You have an 8% chance.
Going for the magic.
Hits a 2. Walks up and just drops a hefty deuce.
Almost halfway, right? Just needed the one.
So I said, "Excuse me, can I talk to you about my?" Oh no.
Typical cats.
Man, your litter box is not here.
Like I said, it's a 1 in 12 shot, so I mean.
I'll roll for the magic.
Alright, get the NPC card out. Hits the 12! Let's go!
Nice, dude.
Fantastic. I'll give you a rave point as well for hitting that sweet 12.
Sick. That's
Nice.
15 rave points.
That's
Very sick.
rave skill number 2. Is that right? Beautiful.
Love to see it.
So
Okay.
cool.
Oh, yeah. Y'all,
And you called for the magic elf girl scholar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now roll again.
That's a 6.
Dude, if you got 312s, I feel like some kind of crazy recruitment skill.
Yeah, that'd be
insane.
Yeah, that'd be wild. Be like, I want that one. They're like, all right, cool.
Remy was trying to get motivated with the whole percentage. I was like, man, we ain't hearing that. We getting 12s.
Yeah.
Hey, I was trying to downplay it. That's all. I'm just trying to. That way, when the bust out the 12.
I guess you get to roll for the fighter still.
Yeah, I'm gonna try for the fighter. Let's see what we do here.
Wait, I was gonna say
No.
have her roll for the fighter.
That is a 7 on a d12.
Yeah, can the chick roll for the fighter?
Darned.
Maybe she can roll like a D10 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a, hey, I'm going, you should go too.
Yeah.
Scholars stick together type deal. Can I try again?
Maybe
Scholars.
each other.
Just say scholars stick
He
together.
was like, no, I got another idea.
No, I'm kidding.
Should I call these?
Also give her 100 mil.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna make her her character sheet. My character sheet with her character card, like the other two that you have already.
Thing is thing.
And
Sick.
so She joins the company at that point. Wow.
Super cool. And this is all just like on the way to where the guy was leading us to.
Yeah, they haven't even got. It was just a walk down a couple of flights of stairs and over to a hallway, and you never know what happens. You will never know what will happen.
Huh?
How stupendous.
How stupendous. Yes, sir. Way to go, buddy.
Thank you, buddy.
What would I call it? Mirage. It's gonna be expensive though. A little pricey.
Did my crow stay outside or is it on my shoulder?
It could have fallen through that window we broke.
That's true. If it wasn't on my shoulder already. If I could speak English. If it wasn't on my shoulder already. English is hard.
So there's your raving skill.
Raving Heat Barrage.
So it's
God.
so you can spend either 6 AP on it or 8 AP, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you spend 6, you roll the 3d6, and if you spend 8, you roll the 3d8.
Oh, wow.
Jeez. Very cool.
And if I use channel, could that be 11 AP?
Yeah. Yeah, and if you channel into it first, it's going to be intensified, of course.
Bro.
That's a big spell, man.
That's awesome.
That's
What a
lot
spell.
That's a lot of juice.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a lot of juice, dude.
And the character that they walked up to was, let's say, a young elf. Let's say it might be of a scant 90 years. Hard to tell. Elves can live a long time, thousands of years. So to say one is 90, let's say it's pretty young. And she was, for an elf, average height, again, a brown hair under the big, almost too big, wizardly-like hat. Shuffling the backpack over her shoulder like this, she kind of looks at you guys and she says, I was supposed to have some people waiting for me. It's like, but they never came. I think something happened.
Oh. Well, you can travel with us if you'd like, or we can. Yeah, that's really all I would say.
Yeah, you're the one that hit the 12.
We're an organization. We're looking to expand. We could use some magic. We could use somebody who's, just as wanting to do, adventure. And,
Somebody to do the books for.
growth.
Shopkeepers on the other side of the lake.
Yeah, we already have the income financial stuff. You hook us up with some magic stuff.
Mhm.
We'll have extra set of hands. You got some books there. We can read.
Yeah.
You could use the 100 mil for your recruitment bonus to
And I'm-
stay at the inn, and you could meet us when we're ready to lose Somerset.
And I'm sure if you can convince your friend who looks like a fighter over there to join, I'm sure these two could give you some more mil.
Yeah. I'll give you more mil if you just will spar with me every now and then while we're on the road. Doesn't that sound fun, Mr. Fighter Man?
We also have a
Oh well, you
full caravan.
still have to roll your d12 to recruit. I mean, this
rolled a
character
7.
you rolled a 12.
He
so
rolled
this-
a 7 when you were doing
Oh.
that.
Yeah.
So
They missed
yeah,
it, yeah.
you hit the 12, so your pitch, worked. And you did give her 100 mil.
Mm.
Okay.
I say I'll give you 200 if you get your fighter friend to come.
Oh, she says, "Oh, I don't know that guy."
Dang.
Sorry for assuming. You know what they say about that.
Hey. It does. It does.
Ask her her name and
Oh, her name is Riston.
Cool. Hello, Riston.
She's a level 1 scholar, 14 HP, 10 AP, 100 mil.
Welcome to Zupindus.
I noticed you were carrying books. Would you like to be our
record keepers,
keeper.
as it were.
Our second record keeper.
So as she kind of like looks back outside the door one last time, she says, "Well, okay, I'll come with you." She says, "Yeah, you know, I was thinking about trying to get into magic to study it." She said, "I've been a scholar here for about a year."
Sweet.
One of our other members of Stupendous was a scholar here.
She says, and you had mentioned that you have a caravan as well.
3 carriages.
Yeah, and so once you get to the caravan, or if at some point you want to send her to the caravan, you can just do that, and she'll be a member of the caravan. As you continue to add people to it, you can just sort of send them to the caravan if you'd like. I'm not going to make them. I'm not going to make up a whole bunch of stuff about them having to travel there and whatever and this and that. That's for the sake of having a caravan. I'll let you guys, as soon as you pick up an NPC like this, if you want to send them on to the caravan, you definitely can.
Cool. Should we send them on, or should we keep her around to see if she can show us where the cool books are later if we get free time before we have to leave?
Well, since she's been here a year, I guess like while we're here, she should stay with us.
Yeah.
Because I guess when we go back to the caravan, she'll obviously go to the caravan too.
Right. Because I mean, we got to go back to the caravan probably here soon after we have what you know, the big talker about to have, or you know, maybe something more. It depends.
Well, Riston, looks like you're with us.
All right,
For the foreseeable future.
Riston, level 1 elf scholar. It's an NPC. I don't have to necessarily control it for taking actions. She does have a couple of skills that cost AP. One is called focus, one is called study, and one is called cold.
Sick.
So does anyone want to use
You did a good roll.
Yeah, you got
or
this
keep it
roll.
with your character? I mean, I can keep track of it too, but it's an actual NPC until you send it to the caravan.
All right, yeah, I'll put it in my little sleeve.
Cool.
Nice, and that's how you recruit an NPC. Just walking through the hallway.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it turned out to where I was able to set up a couple different types to go for, so you wouldn't have to try to get just one type of guy. But you cross that open spanning of room, and then from there you go again. You're going down that long windowed hallway to which you remember as you look out and see the lake. You can already tell from the sound of the steps and from the whistling of the wind through the windows that you had literally just climbed out this window like the day before and jumped out it and coasted all the way down to the wall.
Yeah.
So,
That was pretty cool.
so walking through this corridor again, you're just like, I can do it again.
I might do it again.
Okay.
Had my crow telling me, you know, when there was obstructions, it was pretty sick. Not so many words. It was more of a squawk, but got the point across.
And so a similar thing happens all the way at the end of this long hallway. It gets to what looks like a door that leads to stairways leading down. You've been above this to even see and notice that it doesn't really. There's no buildings behind it. Doesn't seem to lead anywhere. It's just a set of wooden doors all the way at the end of this long hallway. Again, the same way as before, this scholar reaches into his cloak and takes out a small, strange-looking little potion in a little tiny vial. Throwing it at the door, it breaks into the surface of it, and as the liquid spreads out over the whole door, it re-solidifies until it's a dark, dark, dark red door. And then as soon as he opens it up, you see what looks like, again, Forel's private study. So as the four of you, I'll say technically five now, that you have Riston in tow. The five of you enter his private study. And again, it's got some of that bench seating around one corner of it to where a couple of you can sit. Others of you may have to sit on the floor or stand.
Kids on the chair.
Drum walks over to the first chair first, at the edge of the bench seating there. And again, it's just wrapped around one little corner. Sitting, first seat, and just like, spread your cloak out. You're like, yeah, I'm ready. Notebook out, right? You're just like, let's go. So, and the rest of you, wow, breaking the walls down.
Break the walls down.
I'll sit on the floor.
Oh, there you are. So, and so as everyone's kind of, it's only about 20 or 30 seconds after everyone kind of gets settled in and, you know, and again, observing his private study, it does have a couple of paintings but they seem to be kind of simple, nothing extravagant. He's got all kinds of bookshelves that are poured over with thick books and scrolls and rolled up parchments. His desk itself is exactly similar as it was when you seen it yesterday, with the same ancient parchment laying on it. The door behind it then opens up, and Fordle himself, the wizened, ancient, old gnome scholar, comes shuffling in. His eyes rest on all four of you, and he lets out a heavy sigh. He goes, you are alive. I can scarcely believe it.
Yes, we made it. It's a shame about the guards of the village.
He says, oh, yes, well, such things happen in dangerous lines of work. Says, but you killed Fao Min, the Shadow General of the East. Says, oh, impressive. I surely this does confirm everything I suspected. And as you guys are all kind of sitting in, as he looks back over and grabs a book, and he puts it on his lap, sort of flipping through the aged-looking pages. Says, surely this means that the world spell has been activated, and it's surely been to your presence. He leans into to you, to where you're kind of crouched there, not crouched, but right in front of him on the floor, looking up intently. He says, Slippy, says, tell me again about the day that you walked up to the road.
It was a normal day, just slipping and slopping and bouncing. I see a little draconian type being. Rest in peace. Immediately after, there was an adventure. And then I thought to myself, other than survival, I wanted to do more than just be fodder for some no-name adventure.
He nodding solemnly, goes, yes. He says, and what of the day before that? And of the week before that? And of the month before that? What can you tell me of that?
Nothing at all. The only beginning of my memory is that day.
He says, oh, surely this is why the world spell has been activated. These mysteries are why they are coming. This is why they sent one of their generals here to smite you down. It's like, surely the armies of Aesok himself will be coming down upon us before long. As you've noticed, many of the scholars are leaving. We'll say now that you've unlocked an NPC, he's got extra dialogue, and he says, I see you've got Riston among them.
Let's go.
Join Zupendus LLC. We expect great things from her.
Extra dialogue.
That's hilarious. You brought Riston.
So, nodding again, he says, and she will serve you well on your adventures. But I will tell you this. I know for sure that there is forces deeper than Aesok the Mighty and his many generals at his command. Says, I know not why they've turned their gaze towards you. Says, surely they can't be under the power of the world spell itself. Says, questions I don't have answers for. Says, from what you had told him about from earlier, you had mentioned that you hadn't really met the king of Hamlina. You'd really only met the prefect, and then what was it, his son, the prince? And I know in that there was a cutscene that I went through where the king of Hamlina himself was speaking with Aesok, now that you know what his name is, and where he had dispatched the General Falman. So that gives you a little more information on that end. But Forel seems incredibly, and he seems more frightened than normal, I guess you would say. He as he's shaking his teacup, bringing it to his mouth, you know.
Are you worried about Aesok's elite forces coming here?
Says, oh, this place has been here for many centuries. If it should fall, it may be its time. There are scholars now who are leaving with books, pieces. The knowledge will live on.
I'd like to butt in and ask him, do you think Aesok has any relation to the Golden Priest?
He says, oh, I wouldn't know. The only mention of the Golden Priest is in the children's story itself. It mentions it just once in passing. And it only said that he was a shimmering light of evil. It says Aesok is known to be a dark and brooding, a general king.
Can I ask this guy to be my master and teach me scholar skills?
So, intelligence check?
4.
Oh.
One's 5.
Mine is 6.
Really?
So,
We should have been studying here.
well, we roll it. He hit a 6. So, he says, oh, well, my years of teaching have long since passed, but I will bestow upon you a title. Says, and I will secure your escape from this place. Says, there is a port along the road north. It's less than a day. It is Shora Port. I will arrange for a scholar to show you the road, and I will also arrange for passage on a ship.
Okay.
Nice.
Sounds good.
So, will you still be my master? And teach me skills? Can I roll for it? You knew I was gonna do this. Come on.
So, I'll say for an apprenticeship role, I guess it has to be a D12.
Dude, I can do it.
Can you do it?
I can do it.
Can you do it?
So 1 in 12. Oh!
10.
It's a 10.
Barely.
Well, can you see that 10? Is it too bright? It is. Almost too bright. We'll adjust that during the intermission. So on a 10 you were close, but he's not going to... He's actually going to, the title he's going to give you is the Scions of Shimmerset.
Cool.
The Scion. How you spell Scion?
S.
C-I-O-N.
Yeah. It's a. I will call you the Scions of Shimmerset. It's like you carry with you the burden of some sort of destiny. If the world spell has been triggered after all of these many eons because of your approach, because of your sudden memory, it's like then that has a deeper meaning. It says, once you arrive at Shora Port, the ship there will sail for days to the edge of the continent. From there, you must remain on the ship for it to prepare to cross the ocean. Only from there will you get to the city of Recopa, which you've heard of before. It's actually, you remember the soldiers at Hamlin Castle, out in the village, talking about that place as a place where the king has a city or a castle there, maybe. So you know it as a place that's within King Hamlin's realm.
So we're going back east.
So from here, you are going to head east, but along the ship, tracing along the coastline until you get to its most easterly point. From there, it will rest briefly before heading out across the ocean. From there, when it lands, you'll have to travel for a day or so along a road to get to the royal outpost city of Recapa. Forel explains. He says, very little people know this. I think only the king and a few of his subjects would even know the truth. He says, the city and the castle was built there because there were ruins beneath. Ruins of a deep and dangerous dungeonous place. It says, dungeons that were so old it was said to predate many civilizations. It says, if there's any knowledge at all about the old ways and the heroes that once championed then, and it might be there. And I must get you as far away as possible. So I will send you to Recapa. From there, you must find the ruins. You must go to the deepest levels of its dungeons. And there may be clues and knowledge about what you will find of the old ways. And there may be some information lied within its secrets.
Should we see if we can get our caravan to be sent there?
No, we should get the caravan sent to the halfway point.
What, Shimmerset?
No, it's going to go along the continent until it stops. I have the map. I don't know why I'm...
Oh, epic.
Yeah,
The map's just, let's say crude, but... So this is Shimmerset Lake. See this here? This is Shimmerset Lake. Shimmerset Lake with the recluse up at the top. Like I said, it's less than a day's travel from here to Shore Port, which is here, this spot here. From there, that boat will take you along this coastline to here, another port. This is the halfway point. Where you had left the caravan at was at the base of the river, like way back here. And so if you want to arrange for the caravan to come back along the road, it would have to just turn around and head back the way it came. It'd just have to turn around, and it would end up back to where it's back in this destination, which is your halfway meeting point. From there, you will go across this ocean. See where this port is here, and see where Recapa is.
Okay, gotcha.
I've got it's laid out here on the world map.
Gotcha. Okay. So then, yeah, we could have our
Yeah, because it'll be hard to get the caravan across the ocean. Because we didn't bring it with us here.
But because it's more like a group item, I'm not gonna like let it rest in one place, and it's connected to the group in that sense to where it can follow you around, and you're sending people to it. Once you get an excess of items, you can just send them to the caravan if you want. Once you're buying and selling things and it's generating you know. Oh, and actually, another day has passed. Have you guys rolled any mill rolls for the caravan?
No.
Oh, what a fun part of the day.
Hey.
Of course, now that they own a caravan and it is its own revenue generating system in the game, it's working on its own. And so I'll let, because there are two shopkeepers there, of course, because of their duality, I will let 2 D6 dice rolls be rolled every day for mill gains. Whoever wants to roll those, it's up to you.
2d6.
Between the 4 of you, it's 2d6.
I have 700.
I have 6. I have 46.
Oh, and I'll let you pick which brother you want to roll for.
I got 100.
How much do you have?
Yeah, if you haven't seen the earlier
I
episodes
got
where
more.
they recruited those 2 brothers, they're shopkeepers from the
1250.
caravan. There were 2 level 15 shopkeeper
I guess
brothers with
pick the
their
price
own
and see how much it is.
eccentric stuff going on. Again, you can go back to YouTube and check that out. It was pretty great when they recruited them and got them to join the group.
So if we sent Wrist in there, would that go up to 3 rolls? If she were to like get into the business
I don't
side
think
of
she
things?
She's not a shopkeeper, but being a scholar, she would do her study skills and advance her knowledge.
Okay, well, let's go.
A 4. Which brother did you call out?
Sting.
Sting. That's the short, more mild-mannered of the 2 brothers. Of course, because he's more mild-mannered, he gets more sales, but they tend to be for less. So for rolling a 4, we'll say he generated an overall revenue of 80 mil.
I think you still have the lease. You might as well just take the second one.
Kling. Kling, the more temperamental of them, with a 3, tends to get less sales during the day, but they tend to be for more because he always tends to drive a harder bargain. So on a 3, you'll get 90 mil. Free money. Well, I can't say it's free. You just have to put the effort in of stealing it, securing it. Securing it.
We're like Robin Hood, but we stole from a little old lady and gave it to ourselves.
And they just happened to run into the worst adventurer that needed a mission to be their bodyguard ever. Just
Yeah.
He got what he deserved.
he did. He
Yeah,
chose poorly. He chose poorly. He got the game over.
He killed Drakey. That's so sad.
R.I.P. Drake.
R.I.P. Drakey.
You know what? And I can say with a lot of confidence that that whoever that adventurer was so cocky that he never saved his game.
Oh, he goes
Probably
back
uninstalled.
to the beginning.
I hope he did. I hope he did uninstall.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll ever see him again, so I certainly won't ever play it.
Refunded 2 hours.
Oh,
Game
oh, they'll
back
give
to
you
Steam.
they'll give you 30% back for it. You know how those game companies
Maybe
go.
60% on store credit.
Yeah, that's not bad. 60% is not bad.
I'll give you $9.
Get a better game.
So every morning, then it generates more money, and so if now you want to issue it the command to turn literally around a 180 and to head east towards the furthest port city on the continent. It's called All-Rain Port. And so you could just order it to turn around and from there at the location it was at when you left it, it would only be traveling about a day and a half away. So it would probably be there when you get there.
Alright.
Because of the distance you have to travel all along this coastline in the boat.
Do we need to send word to them, or will they just meet us there?
No, they'll be able. They'll meet you there because like the group is like going to the sub menu and issuing the command for it to. So it'll already be aware of you being ready for it when it's there. They're like, you imagine Sting kind of getting there and Sting being like, oh, they'll be here soon. We should be getting everything ready. Kling will be like, they should be getting here and setting things up. We've been setting up every day without them for a whole week. So you know how they are. So then, from here, he dubs you the Scions of Shimmerset. He then says that he'll once you guys leave here, he'll take you. The scholar will take you back out the main entrance, back down to the wall of Shimmerset Village, and from there they'll show you the side street that leads out to the northern gate, to where you'll have to travel. Probably the rest of the day. It's less than a day's travel. And so you'll probably get to Shore Port if you travel along well by dusk. If and when you do, of course, no dangers considered. You should just, if there's someone looking out for you, he's saying that he's securing you a ship. Maybe someone will be able to identify you, or you'll be able to identify the ship in question.
Cool. Have we left the room with him?
No, and in parting, because characters like this you may see again down the line, and you may not. So we'll take advantage of this situation, and I'll let him offer each of you one more piece of wisdom. You can ask about the storyline, any of its components, or your character's own personal growth, or you can ask about the rain that's coming in. You can ask about anything. What wisdom can I impart upon you on this perilous and destined journey?
Can you teach me how to see what my bird sees? Or have you ever heard of anything like that before?
Says, yes, druids have skills and senses that allow them to connect to their companions, to their pets. They can use those skills to fight as they fight and see as they see.
Cool. I'll have to find me a druid, see if they can teach me something. Thank you.
Wisdom. Sprinkles raises his paw. As you do, you drop a candlestick.
What the fuck I thought it was there? I'll pick it back up.
How is it still on fire?
And then I'll ask a question. Does he know anything about, since I can't apprentice under him, does he know any ranging masters that would take me in? Any legendary rangers that would be willing to teach me? One that might also be on my current path.
He says, why, yes. Yes, I do.
Really?
Says, yes, once you cross the ocean from Alrain ports, you will arrive in the mountainous deserts of the continent of Recopa. From there, you will, of course, find Recopa City. It is said there that up in the mountains, there exists elves of the mountains who live there and dwell amongst its people. I have books here that tell of their heritage and their origins. Elves cast away from the woods who seek solace in the lonely mountainous peaks. They've known to have been incredible combatants with their arrows. I know amongst them you may find a true archery master.
I have those books on them. Do you really need them?
Roll a d6 to ask to take the book.
Or can I at least read it real quick or skim it?
On a 3, he nods over to a shelf behind you and says, basically he says, while he's taking his turn, you can try to spend as much time as you can to peruse it. Up over your shoulder along this shelf is a thick purple-bound book. Sliding it out, it's more about all of elf heritage and origin. It seems to be some kind of a lineage or a histography of elf kind in this recent civilization. And so there's a section in the back that details those particular elves. The semi-royal family that was the offshoot of the ones that finally fled and left their ancient elf city, and their offspring and how they developed in the mountains, and that sort of boring social studies like details. It's a history book.
Nice.
Cool.
So it's like history of.
History of elves.
Okay. Thank you.
Do you have any tips on how to eat and digest faster?
Oh, you don't
My
get to
abilities.
keep the book.
Oh, I don't.
You're standing there reading it in front of him. Are you gonna try to steal it?
I mean, it'd be pretty in
Why did I say
character.
it? Why did I say it?
You just look at him in his eyes.
Yeah, you definitely just gave him an option.
Can I? I mean, can I try to read it first? Anyway?
Well, you rolled to pour over it with your back to him, and as soon as you do, with all the information deep and informative within, your deep, tedious mind is already hatching a plot to steal it. Go ahead.
Because my ability to learn new skills is involved around eating, I was wondering if you knew any ancient ways of eating faster or digesting faster. Or should I attempt to eat beasts that can also eat quickly?
He says, "Oh, that sort of."
And I show him the eye of that whale we killed.
Yeah, they're like this big of an eye too. It's like this. He says, "Oh, that sort of magic is bordering the dark and mysterious. Some cultures once thought it forbidden to peruse the flesh and to steal that from which it was life before."
Yeah, it's just another day for me. It doesn't feel that dark. It feels pretty neutral, natural.
He says, I have heard that in Alreen Port, they have people there that, amongst their darker guilds, deal in dark arts and matters of the flesh, of stealing skill away from spirit through matters of the skin. Says, but I don't know much more about it other than that. The dangerous folk dealing with the dead.
As he says that, I eat the eyeball.
You like put it in your body and like. So it's all like you're eating it. It's just like he, as if like not. Well, let's see if he's phased at all. Roll higher dice on that. An 8. He doesn't seem phased. So you just start chewing on and gnawing on the eyeball in front of him. He says, I wouldn't know much about it other than their ways are dark, matters of the dead. He says, and so he indicates that it will probably be like a necromancer's guild, but in any of these modern cultures, that sort of magic is so hushed about and rare that you'd probably have to ask around and probably pursue the lead a little bit in order to find something. But you'll be in Alreen Port, so you'll have an opportunity.
Dude, a necromantic bard would be kind of a cool character.
I don't know.
Like the Song of the Dead or
We'll
something.
play you a song of doom.
A bunch of skeletons start dancing.
Yeah. Song
I'll
of Doom.
play for real a goodbye tune.
Roll a d8 for tune. A 6.
Can I ask a question?
As he, bowing at his wisdom, turn away. You're already playing the thlim 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 thlim. Playing a bit of a sad goodbye tune, right? Can't get these skills. You are rolling a lot on it though, which is the best way to keep getting skills. He's been asking about fishing too. If you guys get to shall report in time, I mean there'd be an opportunity to fish even then.
Does Frill? And it's funny you mentioned fishing because I was going to ask him about fishing.
Huh.
Does he have any kind of stuff regarding any kind of good smaller bodies of water like rivers? Regarding, cool fish or just interesting species in the area?
He says, "Oh, there are books that are written about the art of fishing. There are some who think it seems it inspires the senses of the divine. Many people find it to be, as the texts say, a calm and relaxing tradition." So I've read myself that if you find secret places, lakes and streams hidden away, that the fish within, as rich of a magical world as this is, would certainly be splendorous with wonder.
Intriguing. Thanks, Frill.
So the more reclusive the waters that you find, the rarer the better fish you can get within. Which you did even when you were fishing in that last dungeon you had traveled through. You fished there and someone caught an eel, right?
Mhm.
Which would have been the fish you would have caught for that area
Sure.
because it had a big eel in it and it was, so it did have special fishing conditions there, which I'm glad somebody did fishing there to find out. Places like that come along, you definitely want to remember to, stop and drop a line in. You never know what you'll catch.
At this point, I'm ready to drop a line in like every toilet I see.
Same, yeah.
Send me some soup. I'm gonna fish it.
Nice. So he's imparted a bit of wisdom to everyone. Nice. It says, "Then go, scions of Shimmerset. It says, go and see destiny be done." And yeah, from there you guys can all kind of stand up in unison. Some of you go to clap and then you don't. You're just shuffling over towards the wall.
Can I take the book?
You gonna roll? You gonna pickpocket it?
Sure.
Say that would increase your chances if you use the skill.
Alright, let me do that.
Just wanted to steal everything.
I'm gonna walk up and give Frill another hug. I think I gave him a hug before.
2. That is a fail. I'm sorry, but you'll have to put that book back. What's called the Elfrin.
Can I just choose to take it anyway and ignore him? Or is he telling me to put it back?
He only indicated for you to read it. I guess if you're going to just attempt to take it, he'll still get a reaction roll to you trying to take it.
Okay.
He hits a 3. And as the 4 of you go walking up to the door, he shuffles up behind you, and you have to part ways for him to get through. And again, he takes one of those suspicious little purple potions out of his cloak. Throwing it up against the wall, it has a similar effect as it splashes against it, forming and molding up and out until 2 dark, purple, deep-looking doors appear in front of you. And as he waves his hand towards it, the door pushes open where that long stone-windowed corridor is, and that other scholar with the glasses is waiting outside there, impatiently tapping his feet. As you're about to pass through, he does hook your arm with his hands as you're about to leave. And he says, "My friend, the pursuit of knowledge does have many ends." He says, "Be careful which your pursuits will take you."
I'll give him the book back.
Okay.
As I do, can I attempt to pickpocket him?
Yeah, you can. You can attempt to pickpocket.
I don't like the way you said that.
I mean, you can attempt it.
Better roll high.
You better roll high.
I'd like to quickly leave the room.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
follow the
try it.
drum.
I'm gonna try it.
I'll follow the drum. I know what the cat's
I'm
up
gonna
to.
risk it.
Leaving.
Be associated with such behavior.
You
Exactly. I'm a
I'm gonna risk it.
risking it for the biscuit, ladies and gentlemen.
I can't be on the outside for
Hits a 5.
Okay.
That should keep me alive.
Well, being a scholar, it's not that he doesn't have skills and protections against this sort of thing. He hits a 6.
Oh.
As you reach in to do the pickpocket move, a visible staticky cling of electric energy just appears in front of you, zzz, stunning you and knocking you back. As you do that, you notice one of the necklaces under his shirt, around his, and he's a gnome, he's a shorter fellow, a necklace around his person seems to make, if you were close enough to hear with your feline ears, you'd hear it thrumming in response to your attempt to pickpocket.
Okay. I'll just leave.
Wait,
But as soon as you do it, though, he does get an automatic response. He says, "Oh, my friend, greater than you have certainly tried.
If he's like that skill, why didn't he take out
I get it.
No, yeah, if you're that strong, why don't you just kill the general yourself?
Says, that's not the point.
You risked the village.
It's the principle.
You risked the whole village.
Says, oh, I have no attack skills.
Would you just use one?
That was a reactive defensive skill.
Something like in there with
Protecting his inventory and his books.
Shadow Man wasn't going after the books.
right.
I would like to tell for real that I also know a certain electric spell, but I don't cast it at him. I cast it in front of him. In between.
I'm leaving.
Oh my god. Go ahead.
Well, I guess I'll just show it to him. I'll cast it in front of me.
Do you want to intentionally try to undercast it?
Yes.
Okay. That way you don't he's pretty close to you. You don't want to actually hit him with it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay if you want to. I'm not saying you shouldn't if you do.
Dude, hit him with it.
Yeah, I'll go for non-lethal.
Sick.
A 6.
Woo! Roll it again, dude.
So feeling like after casting it as much as you've casted it, that you have some finite level of control over it. So you attempted this time. Normally every time you cast it, you just pick a spot in front of you and it zaps out in a bit of a line or a bolt. This time you pictured your best to imagine it coming down halfway and just blistering out into a shower of sparks. And you hit a 6. So as you do, in that one moment where your willpower takes effect on it, from 3 feet over him, it jumps down, and inches over his head, it actually no, he's a gnome, so it's actually about 2 feet over his head. It sprays into a shower of sparks, some of them hitting some of the pages and along the shelf and on the floor around him. Looking up, he goes, oh, what a display, but please, not in my personal study.
I point to his neck and I hold my hand out.
Well, he's not sure what you mean.
I point to his neck again, the thing that caused the shock.
Oh, I mean, the necklace that he used. Yeah, I mean, he noticed that it seemed to have some kind of protective defensive effect against pickpocketing and stealing, or assailing of his personal items and inventory.
I'll trade you for it.
I need that.
You want to try to roll a d6 to convince him to trade you his loot?
I'll trade you my emerald whistle for that necklace.
Roll a d6 to attempt it. 5. He hit the 6.
Wow.
So you do extend the offer, though he says, oh, I can't part with this. It's like I've had it for many, many years. It served me well against dangerous curs and thieves.
Like
I'll
that
give you
Catholic
5.
I'll
give you 500
mil
mil
for it. I
for
was
it.
gonna come back in there and try.
Bro. He literally just stops, turns around. Lootable enemy pops up. What?
Let's go.
Well, I'll play the liar one last time as I leave.
This poor guy
I
helped
tell
us
him
leave.
he runs a hard
Like,
bargain
we
if
need
you don't
to
want to
hurt
part
him.
with any goods to keep your
Just
silence
wanna go.
alive.
Well, it's within his meager reach to secure you a ship and its passage. That's the best he can do under the circumstances.
Wait a minute, is he wearing a hat?
No.
Oh.
Bald-headed gnome fellow.
I like to slap his head a little bit.
You can roll a d6 to do that too. 5. Well, as soon as you go to turn and leave, you just give him a light little tap on the top of his head. As soon as you do, and you go to walk out, he says, oh, what a brave little slime, risking his life so.
I'm doing more than you will for the village.
So yeah, calling out as you leave, and as the door again closes behind you, as soon as you turn to look at it, all the liquid that was there before has melted and drifted away to where, as you turn and look, now it's just the regular wooden doors over nothing, dirt and wood behind them.
We should have jumped.
Wanted to launch your attacks against Forel, the ancient gnome scholar?
I'm for real.
Well, punch him with a little explosion.
So the scholar with the other glasses escorts you back down along that long stone windowed hallway, back down to where the other side of doors were, which then takes you out of the building. You then have to again navigate that long slanted walkway that veers left and right in all sorts of directions as it takes you on that long walk back down to the wall. And as soon as you get there, you notice right away that it's manned by 3 different guards. They must have hired them to replace the ones that had just been there. You do notice one of them, that red-haired fellow with the red goatee and the red patterns on his robes, is standing there at the wall with his arms crossed like this. He just nods at you as you come out. And there's another axe, a laden dwarf with a big heavy battle axe over his back, with the same kind of armor on as the other ones had, as far as Kailu and Brog. And he's kind of standing there looking out over the lake. And amongst them does seem to be another, we'll say it's a tall human sword fighter. He has we'll say he's got like a black mohawk, right? With some piercings and tattoos going all down the sides of his face, down his neck, over his arms. He's got a black leather vest on, but you notice that at the sides, he's got a pair of nice looking, elaborate looking weapons, like long swords. So 3 guards all just standing there. The 4 of you come out, and that red-haired fellow, just nods at you as you 4 come out. And as you're again looking out over Shimmerset Village with its sparkling crystal lake behind it, he says, "Hey, I'm supposed to show you guys where the north gate is." He says, "All right, come on then, let's hurry up and get there." So as he escorts you down back through the center of the Shimmerset Village, you notice this time it's different. There are people kind of brushing over stains that were laid out in the street. There have been carts that have been knocked over, windows that have been smashed in. People had been thrown into the buildings so hard that it had put big, huge cracks and gory stains into the side of buildings. So things are being cleaned and washed and sort of rebuilt a little bit. All of the after effects of Foul Min's attack on the village. But I know that it was a really nice mini game. You guys definitely partook in speeding down there as quickly as you can. So you did the best you could to minimize it. Because once you got there, he definitely focused on you. But the sounds in the village are a little more somber. It's kind of quiet as people are. You hear the hammering of wood, people rebuilding things, people shuffling around, dragging things across the dirt. And again, people kind of looking at you in sideways glances and kind of half looks as the 4 of you walk down the center of the village. Oh man, it went right to that music I didn't want to play. But I will play. So again, a bit of a quieter setting in the village as this red-haired mage takes you halfway down. You notice at the other half, looking down the rest of the stretch of street to where the lake is and where, there's actually, you see a ferry down there, waiting to pick people up or dropping people off. Must be that about time of early or midday to where the ferry appears to pick people up or to shuttle them around. You notice it down at the other end. But that's not the direction that you go. As he turns to the left and going up a semi-wide side street, You go up to where it reaches a tall 2-story building to where it looks like people might live there. It's got balconies and doorways. Going around it, he then turns right down an alleyway as the 4 of you have to shuffle down through a couple of side village streets. Coming out to a clearing, there's a big set piece of stone wall where it's just up against the mountain rock on one side, and there are some buildings set against on this side. And so as the 4 of you, with Riston in tow, of course, and him, this fire mage in the front, he takes you up to where there's a big wooden gate that's set there, and there are a couple of armed soldiers, generic looking swords or spears with helmets, guards that are with the same shimmer set look on their armor plating, standing there at that gate. As he walks up, he's already swinging his hands around like this, and the 2 guards, each grabbing one heavy door, dragging them along the dirt, pulls them open, revealing a very thinly laid out road. It's only very well worn in the occasional spot, but it leads straight north, with the plains stretching out ahead of you. That fire mage fellow tips his hat like this, or tips his head, or his finger on his head anyways, as the 4 of you are looking out that direction, and he goes, "Man, I don't know if I'd want to be you guys. Good luck."
You wouldn't want to be a scion or shimmer set?
He says, "No, I live here, and they're paying me a ton."
How much are they paying you?
Ooh, roll a d6 to try to get that information.
Yeah, I know it's personal.
A 4.
Hey.
He says, "Oh, enough to keep this hair looking good every day."
Nice.
Hey, could you show us an example of one of your fire spells?
Roll a d6 to ask for an exhibition. He happens to be a bit of an exhibitionist, so this may play to his strengths.
I'll show you a little example of my magic as well.
A 1. He says, "Oh, sorry, little pal. I'm too hot to handle."
Can I pick his pocket?
You should. That would humble him.
Yeah.
Let's beat his ass.
If it goes wrong, we can.
So you're standing at the barren open courtyard between buildings, nestled of the north gate, with a couple of guards there with this red-robed fire mage. And you notice, too, that his red hair is swooped up and back with something in it to give it a dramatic swoop on the top. A 4. He definitely gets a reaction there. A 4. So as you went in for the pickpocket, he actually slaps your hand away. And as he does, a bit of fire sort of puffs out from the spot where his hand hit the back of your hand. It lets out a poof, and you just kind of step back, right? Because it swirled up and out, and it's gone. And he's like, "Did you really just try to steal something from me?" He's like, "Man, I'm gonna ask for a raise after this."
Can I try it again?
If you attempt it this time, he may attempt something more offensive.
He said, "Man, it's not a
And
I'm gonna do it.
and you did that, and not only did he have that reaction, but both the guards were just kind of like,
Oh, the guards are looking now.
yeah, they did catch their attention.
I'll spit at the ground. Walk away.
You can roll to spit at the ground. It's a d6. It's a 1.
No.
You accidentally spit at the end of your own foot.
Oh.
Can I laugh and give the guy a fist bump?
Sure. Roll d6. A 6, and you hit a 4, but you can re-roll your 6 on that hearty fist bump.
Very cool.
So
I'm gonna apologize for the shenanigans and give him 30 mil.
No.
Wow,
don't
nice.
Give him money.
giving him mill and hitting him with a fist bump, as everyone then sort of files out the northern gate. He says, "Heh, I like you." He's like, if you ever come back to Shiverset, he's like, "I'll show you guys around."
Oh, I appreciate that.
Very cool.
I'll also give him 10 pounds of whale meat.
As
And also, if he doesn't take it, I just leave it on the ground and walk
No, I mean you can give it to him. He'll take it. He's like, wow. He's like 10 pounds.
Yeah, they don't got many of those in the lake anymore.
It's like, oh, I'm cooking this.
I still have 100 pounds.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, don't you have some?
Jeez, you guys have so much.
I'm gonna start cooking.
I mean, 10 pounds is a lot still. It's like 2 thick stacks, like in each
Shoot,
hand
that
like
fire
this.
Magic, you can cook it right now, but we got Scion things to do.
Oh, almost putting your nose up studily and being like, sorry, main game events are calling.
See a side character.
Till next week.
Well, he's gonna, nod and chuckle a little bit at your jokes as the 4 of you file out. Does he say anything back with a 3? No, he does not. I had some funny things I could say, but he's not able to say them. Poor guy. So then the 4 of you, after walking out for a few minutes, find yourself right up, with the Shimmerset Lake and its mountainous sort of spread. And you do see the mountains sort of stretching out far off to your left as you're walking. But it's just a finely, thickly grassed stretch of open plain out in front of you. With, again, the road in front of you, the most barely worn spots here and there, as if it's barely traveled. But as you travel north for a ways, and again, it was cloudy as you had woke up this morning, and you can tell that the sun is about overhead, but it's just got this layer of dark white and dark gray clouds just in every direction. But walking along, we'll say, how much time do you want to spend walking along? You want to walk along. You can stop at any point, of course, to take actions, examine the ground if you have any foraging skills.
Can I stop when we see a tree so we can cut it down and collect the wood?
I would like to look for small bodies of water in the woods.
Yeah, I'll go hunting.
Okay, nice. So, and again, after about an hour or two of walking, you turning around, you don't even see Shimmerset Village behind you. Though you do see mountains and what could maybe be a dot of something that could be a bit of the manor nestled up in there, but it's so far away now, you've been walking for hours. So, and you do see way up ahead where there might be a clearing of trees. But for now, if you were to stop and just, again, the occasional gust of wind swooping wide swaths over the grass all around you, you hear the chittering of birds, the rustling of things, squirrels or something, and perhaps in the underbrush, the occasional chittering of a cricket, and you have to kind of swat away the occasional mosquito buzzing around you. It's, again, a wide stretch of plains out in front of you. But if you were stopping to see if there were any animals about, yeah, you can definitely see bounding off in the grass off to the side what appear to be rabbits. There's a bunch of them bounding.
I'm gonna use predate dart and chase after the.
Does anybody else, as he goes dashing off into the grass, you do see what look like a bunch of rabbits bounding up out of the grass, heading straight along. Do anybody else want
I'll take
to?
a shot at one.
Okay, that's a 5. That's a 5 for your predate dash. As you go darting straight ahead into the grass, some of them are, because rabbits are quick, a lot of them are bounding ahead of you. But you dart to the side like this to try to cut them off. So you're in pursuit. You did flush a lot of them out, and it seems to be the rabbits here are a little bigger than normal, to what you would normally think. I mean, they're on average about this big around. And at first it seemed to be just one or two, but as you ran into the grass, 7 or 8 all come bounding out.
Oh, wow.
Boom. Apparently you stumbled on a nest. But anyone who has any ranged attacks can take a shot with something.
I'm gonna take a shot. Get a little bit of experience if I can kill one.
I got a short bow and 5 arrows. I'll take a shot.
A 1.
I might be able to hear him.
That will not land.
Did I lose the arrow?
No, it's gonna go into the grass. You'll be able to recover it.
If I use my flaming rainbow, would that potentially
Oh my
start a fire or
God.
do something bad?
Potentially, but it's a straight grassy plain in front of you
I'll take a shot at him.
with the flaming range bow.
Yes.
Gonna hit Slippy.
A 6.
Right.
Roll it again. A 6. Roll it again.
Three.
Is it time?
Ooh,
Is it time? A 1.
That's how it goes.
But a 2 6s is definitely enough. As you're watching them bound, lining up the shot, you thump, let the arrow go. And as soon as it leaves the enchanted bow, of course, the head of the tip of the arrow has the foof of fire. So it lets out a small streak of that smoke and flame as it does its arcing path. It strikes a bounding rabbit in mid-hop. Boom, right in its side. It hits it, knocks it out of the air, and it's landing. It sits there in the grass. The smoking arrow is still stuck in it as the other rabbits are bounding out and around it. You struck one and scored a kill.
Nice.
Go ahead.
Sick. A D6 for me too.
A 4.
With a 4, let me just see if any of them. Well, one. So one got a 6 and one got a 2. So luckily, as you were just kind of listening, hearing them thumping along through the grass, holding the arrow out to the side, you aimed out ahead of them, trying to line up your feet and your stance to be as balanced and level with the ground as you can be. Letting the arrow out, you hear it thunk against something. You're all able to see that he definitely fired an arrow and hit one as it was turning. Thunk, hitting it along its backside haunches. It's sending it spinning, not rolling into the ground. The arrow broke, so it's not usable. But that was an accidental hit and a kill.
Hey.
So as you darted in after them, and then you went to cut them off, there was 1 or 2 in the back that were in the back of the pack. You're the closest to them.
But they're still like bounding off.
Yeah, so they're just ahead of you. If you want to use that move again, or just try to roll to close in the distance, again they're trying to bounce away.
Okay. I kind of want to mold into a rabbit. It'll slow me down if I try to mold.
Yeah, because you're putting action points into using it mid movement.
I'll use predate dart again.
Okay. Hits an 8 on predate
nice.
dart. Let's go.
Sick, dude. Reroll that 8.
A 1. So that 8 is definitely enough as you surge ahead so fast that you slam into one of them, knocking it over as you go sprawling over top of it. So hard and so fast that you actually went over it and landed a couple feet away from it, its body sliding along the grass. Before it can recover, you instantly pounce on top of it, right? Are you going to try to roll a d8 to... I mean, you've got it now, so you can put it in your inventory, I guess, or try to consume it.
I'm going to attempt to eat it.
Roll a d8.
Like a predator hunting down its prey.
Hits a 6. So that's enough of a success for you to, as you slowly consume it, you pick up another skill, but this one's called Predate Bound. So it's a 3 times a day to where you can crouch in almost a coiling motion and spring up and out into the air.
That's a cool way to pick up speed.
And I guess after I absorb them, I'm going to hop back to everybody.
So they're still watching the rest of the flock of rabbits bound up ahead, still aiming their arrows and getting ready to fire what could be another shot. You do have time to maybe take one more as they're bounding. They've gotten about 20 to 30 feet ahead. Some of them are even now crossing the barren little stretch of path in front of you as they're trying to run out and away. So there is another opportunity for shots. Will you take one?
I'll take another shot.
Your arrow broke, but your arrow didn't. It was recoverable.
You said it was 5 times a day?
I said it was 3.
Oh, 3 times a day. No MP though?
No.
Okay.
So on a 5. Wow, nice. One of them rolled a 1. Did you use your special bow?
I used the, I guess the shock bow.
So when an arrow leaves that bow, the tip of the arrow instantly bursts and crackles with electrical magic, letting out another streaking, sparking arc as you send it off. It does strike one a little more in the front of it as it was running right across the road. The electricity that hit it sprawls out along the ground, almost hitting other ones from its, but they jumped and bounded over it, just barely missing. But you did hit one, and it doesn't seem to be moving. So that's a successful hit.
And the arrow is recoverable?
For this one, you think it might be? Yes.
Awesome.
Will you take another shot?
A rabbit carcass?
Well, once everyone takes another shot,
Okay.
the event will be over.
My first arrow is recoverable, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take another shot with the flaming rainbow.
A 1.
Well,
That one you fired not had enough of a bounding rabbit because it was crossing the path ahead of you. So as you fire, it fires behind it, landing in the grass and the dirt, sinking in a little bit and sliding. Ooh, you rolled a 1. That arrow's not recoverable. It broke. Will you take one more shot? Hearing the twang of arrows being loosed, you pull your arrow back and just a random shot.
Another 4.
With a 4,
Another 5 or 6.
pair of
2
5s.
5s.
Yep, you fire it and it goes way out, up, over, and ahead, missing clearly.
Well, that makes sense.
Then all the rabbits bound out and head too far into the grass or too far ahead for you to really effectively get a shot.
Nice.
But you did pick up a skill, and between the three of you, how many did you successfully shoot?
I got one.
I got one.
Neil got one.
I'll go pick up the rabbits and bring them to him.
Can I see if I can get my crow
Nice.
to go pick one up?
Well, these rabbits are big, so
okay.
too big for the crow to try
They're like
to
the
pick up.
rabbits from The Hobbit that Radagast.
Yeah, well, I mean they're smaller than that because those were big rabbits, but these were a medium-sized version of that.
Okay.
And that one has a big body, big ears, and long back hind feet. We'll call them prairie. They're called prairie pouncers.
Prairie pouncers. Cool.
That sounds
Once
like
I bring them over
names
to
of
them,
Midwestern middle school or something.
I'm gonna
Go pouncers!
attempt to mold into the shape of one of them.
Like the tunnel snakes.
Roll for it. Is it a skill? You have to
Yeah,
check
just
that
0
for mold. Okay. If you stare at the form intently with a 1, you try to do it, but end up with a skinny, tall body with a rabbit's head and tall, pointy ears. You say, "Meh." What's up, Don?
Rabbit season.
Well, you definitely did just hunt some rabbits. Yeah, I'll everyone roll 1d4 experience. Missing the dice tower. Missing the dice tower. Everyone is just throwing them out there. Who will land a shot in the dice tower? Oh, miss. Ain't got no LeBrons here, folks. That's a 3, and that's a 2. 3 experience, 2 experience. That is a 3 experience.
Super cool.
And that is also a 3 experience. Fantastic. What a good round of dice rolling and experience.
That puts me at
Very
330
cool.
even.
Some good hunting.
What you want now?
And
3 put me at
And
330.
like I said, those rabbits are they're medium size as far as size of a rabbit. They're big, so you can definitely cook them. Yours was consumed, so you didn't get to keep it, but you did pick up its inherent ability.
Very cool.
Never know what sort of creatures will come bounding out. Is that Ravy Boy? Ravy Boy, if you're still watching, welcome back.
Welcome back.
There was a Ravy Boy did show up in an Edarock tournament last night. He was unfortunately beaten in the first round by Okana, but he did show up in what was a Raving Night game. And you know how you have to get to those. It's a very special conditions that have to be met. It was awesome. Rave points all around. And I did also, because I did earlier in the day, talk about Florenzia, the MMO that we play. It's actually pretty fun if you haven't played it. It's got like that anime-esque swashbuckling style. It's free to play, of course, but it's super fun. It's a huge game. So I definitely recommend if anyone wants to get into playing it. Ravy Boy is the absolute legend when it comes to that. Hook your character up, of course. But I digress. So after hunting those rabbits and dispatching them and putting them in your inventories, you recover what arrows were recoverable and continue along the bare path up north. And it doesn't take too much long after that, another hour or so of walking. The wind picks up just a little bit, coming from north up ahead, sweeping down over the plains in your faces. As the clouds up ahead, and the whole sky is sort of just dark with dark white and light gray clouds. But even further up ahead, it appears to be just a little darker, perhaps, as you're walking along this barely trodden path. But it does get to a point, because I did see a thicket of woods up ahead. As you're walking steadily closer to it, it gets to the point where it's hard to even call it a line of trees. It's like maybe 20 or 30 yards of a thicket of trees up against the side of the path here. The path even kind of winding around it, as it's just a short, squat little section of trees. And there are some bigger ones laid in, but a lot of them are very small to call them this big around, with a lot of weeds and tangled underbrush mussed up in them. So it'll only take you a few minutes to walk around it. But it is laden with small and some medium-sized trees and branches, thickets of thorns and bushes.
Can I just cut down the biggest, closest tree I can see?
Sure, roll a d6. A 1. So you're just going to walk up to the first one that you see on the tree line there. And it's, like I said, about this big around. What weapon would you use to start cutting it down?
I have a wood cutting axe.
He has a wood cutting axe. What we say to that is welcome back.
Welcome back, indeed.
Yeah, wood axe. Right here it is.
So even on a 1, you'll cut it down, though it will take you probably the whole turn. With a 1, you're whacking at it, and then you have to hit it. You have to hit it several times. This is the first time you've ever really done something like this, so it's causing muscles to react in your body you weren't expecting.
Getting stronger.
It's gonna be sore tomorrow, I think.
But after expending your entire turn, that large, and it was about 12 feet tall, falls over the path. Boom.
Can I cut it into chunks?
That will have to be next turn.
Okay.
Does anybody else want to do a foraging roll or to recover anything from this small thicket of trees?
Could be berries in there.
Yeah, I'll do a foraging roll. See if I can smell anything
Maybe
cool.
a bird's nest.
Ooh.
Roll a 1d6. A 6. Roll it again. A 5. So, walking up to where the line of trees start, you have to kind of step in between them a little bit, and a lot of them are close together, with a lot of the branches overhead crisscrossing, making a thick network of canopy over it. But the occasional thorns rub up against your side, as it's tree and then another one. They're all very kind of close together. You just want to pick one and start kind of looking around it, or did you want to climb up it?
I want to climb up it because if I fall, I can just slow fall. So I won't really take off.
As you grab a couple of the branches and hoist yourself up, some of the branches kind of break over your head as you're moving your body up through them. You do get to the top, and you did hit 6. So we'll say your head does hit something that sort of falls over your shoulder. Reaching out instinctively, it does appear to be something round, made out of thick, poking sticks. It must be a bird's nest. And your heart stopping for a moment, you move your hand over it to see if there's anything inside. Oh, there's not.
Okay, cool. Hey, either way, I got something. Okay. Brazen, look.
And it's a good sized, like this big of a nest. So So you're able to put that in your inventory.
Very cool.
And because you're was your crow a canopy crow?
Yeah.
So actually, it's pretty well suited to this area. So it was swooping overhead around you, but now you do see it perched up. Oh, I can't say that you see it, but you can definitely hear it cawing from a branch up ahead of you, as if it's in another tree, 6-8 feet ahead of you, perched around. Here it's in its element because it can easily swoop from one part of the canopy to the other, swooping on insects, bugs that are in the trees, and even sometimes smaller sparrows and chickadees.
Nice. Eat them up, bud.
So here it's in its element.
Sick. Fly off with them.
Who wants to roll for another foraging roll?
I'll go over a foraging roll.
Okay.
Some kind of. I'll look for like some kind of berries or something.
Okay. A 2. So you've been traveling long enough to where you can recognize the berries that you probably can eat and some of the ones that you shouldn't. To say you roll a 2 means that as you wade through some of the thickets into the deeper part of the tree line within, you automatically see, I guess what I'll call crestal berries. They're small. They're sort of hard shelled and they're red. They're not really for eating. They actually kind of make you sick if you eat them.
I'll grab them.
But they're in low, nestled thickets along this little patch. They only get about 2 feet high. So you can reach in and try to pick some of them out. And they're small, beady-like almost, like pea-shaped. But they're dark red.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll take some.
You can grab and it'll take you the rest of your turn to get a handful of crestal berries.
Okay, so a handful of crystal.
Mhm.
Okay.
Will you attempt a foraging roll?
I'm just gonna predate kick one of the trees.
Nice. Predate kick. As you walk up to the first tree you see against the tree line, nestled against the path. And with a 3, letting out a swift, ha! Boom! You hit the tree. The branches up top sway a little bit from the force of the kick. You can do more things in your turn. You definitely rushed out and kicked it as hard as you could because it was a tall, pretty wide set tree. With a 3, it caused the branches to tremble from the force of it, certainly, but it wasn't enough to knock it over or even really splinter it.
I'm gonna test my new ability and use predate bound to see how high up I can get into the tree.
Nice. The top end of that move will take you pretty high up.
Was it a 1d8?
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
So your body crouching low for a moment. A 4. That will spring you straight up, 3/4 of the way up, to where if you were to reach around and grab the tree, there'd only be about 4 feet above you of its branches spiraling out to where you'd almost be at the top.
Can I attempt to use my dagger to stick it into the tree to stop falling?
Well, you've grabbed it now, so
Okay.
there's that moment where you shuffled a little bit, but you've stopped moving. You've grabbed onto it. Now you're 3/4 of the way up this 14-foot tall tree. Amongst its top section of branches, you hear the cawing of a crow around you somewhere in the canopy.
I guess I'll attempt to get a little higher so I can sit on one of the branches.
Roll d6. And that will finish out your turn as you. A 5. Yeah, that's more than enough to break above it, and as you're kind of resting your body as well as you can on the thicker sections of branches so that you can balance but not break them, your head pops out and you're able to look over the thicket itself. And it breaks down a little bit into smaller trees, but it's plains clearing all around it, with the mountains sweeping out with its snowy peaks crested way out in the horizon, with the path ahead of you this way heading straight out. You've gotten to the point now to where you're looking and you can almost maybe see the briefest hint of blue way out in the horizon. Again, it's getting darker in the day, and it's cloudy and overcast for sure. But is that ocean? It's so hard to tell because you're so far away. But you did climb high enough to where you caught the briefest glimpse. And you can spend the rest of your turn kind of up there restfully, kind of looking around over the plains and the mountains. Again, it's beautiful to view such a wide range of tall, cresting peaks out in the distance.
I'll just spend the rest of the turn, or the next turn, just playing a tune while
If
I'm
you,
up there.
yeah, oh, definitely. Roll a d8. So let's see them 8s. Let's go. An 8!
Oh,
Nice.
Welcome.
Let's do it.
An 8.
Oh wow!
Dude, no
That's
way. Roll another
3 8s.
one.
We got 3 8s. Let's go. A 7.
Oh my god.
Man. So you do pick up a tune. Does pick you up a new song on an 8.
Very cool. Very cool.
So this song is called Scenic Vista. So when you're playing that scene, to you or any friendly party members around, it'll add a +1 to your surveying, scanning, and viewing. If you're out in the world map looking around, and you play Scenic Vista, and you guys want to do a surveillance roll or a scanning roll, looking ahead, you get a +1 bonus.
Sick.
As you start playing a friendly sounding, kind of upbeat. You're kind of just looking out over the scenic vista before you. Skills for days.
Very cool.
So, as the turn order resets, it was Sprinkles about to roll to chop up this tree into logs.
Chunks or logs, whatever you want. Something that I could then break down further, easier into shafts.
Okay.
Or whatever else I might want to whittle. So this is a D6?
Yeah. Yeah. Using the woodcutter's action, hitting a 3, it'll take you about half of your turn, hacking into one and separating it into what would be probably 8 logs.
8 logs?
Yeah. See, I know for a fact that he cuts down trees and splits wood in real life, and the fact that he doesn't mind having his character do it in the game too. He comes here to play this game to get a break from life, to have his character do the same things that he does.
How many shafts could I estimate from one log piece?
Each piece is like over a foot long. Just big around.
So like I could estimate like maybe 20.
You got 8 of them. You got 8 of them. Oh, each one.
Per log.
Each one. Yeah, each one.
It's like at least 20. So I don't think we'll probably need any more after those. I don't think.
I mean, you can use pieces of that wood to burn too for fire. It'll burn rambunctiously for a long time because each one is a good sized log.
Right. I can always split one too.
Right, exactly. So there's lots of different things you can do with it, for sure. So you successfully forged that whole tree.
Can I attempt to?
No, you can't pick its pocket. It has no pockets.
No, why not?
And no, you can't haggle with it because it's not a real person.
I rolled a haggle. I want more wood. Can I with that? You said I have half my turn now.
Yeah, we'll say. I mean, there was still a lot to cut up into 8 logs, but if you want to do one more thing for your turn, you can.
Can I just attempt to turn get as many shafts from one of the log pieces as I can with my wood cutting knife?
Ooh, that's
My
gonna
special
take.
whittling knife.
That takes multiple turns, really.
What can I spend like? Can I try to get however many I can get from like half a turn for it? I just start on one piece.
Yeah, you can start on one piece, and starting on one piece itself is difficult, guys. If you've ever tried it, it's a long commitment. Okay, so just be mindful. Be mindful. He is being a
Not
bad
a
kitty. He is being a bad kitty. For the most faithful and recurring people that watch almost every week, which we appreciate.
We do.
Yeah.
Do I get to roll? So do I roll for that? How many shafts I get?
Yeah, roll another d6. At the most, a 5. You manage to carve enough wood off the side of one to start whittling one.
So I have one.
Yeah. And that's after spending the rest of your turn not only cutting that piece off of the side of a log, but then whittling it until it's fine and smooth.
Alright, nice. I'll wait till we make camp later. Some more.
And so, has everyone made a successful roll as far as what they want to get or find in the thicket?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got brazen a bit.
So you come down from your treetop perch, and everyone comes ambling out of the woods after a few moments with their various items and things in tow. You had picked up and you had learned a new song that you were like, you're still kind of practicing the end part of it as you're coming out of the tree line. And you had come out, cradling a. Now that you can get a good look at it, you see it's a big, what must be what's called a stark robin. They're again a bigger type of robin that have dark black wings and like red crests on their head. But they are known to make these big nests, and he's coming out with a big one in his hands. So it's an empty robin's nest. Call it that.
Can I put it in my hood?
Yeah.
And then just have brazen sit there.
Yeah, and go ahead and roll. You can do a companionship roll with Brazen, and I'll do a roll for him too.
Cool. Oh, well, it's not over there.
Now that you've prepared him a nest, let's see if he's instantly comfortable. With a 3? Oh, I rolled a 2. So he's still hopping on your shoulder. He seems a little apprehensive about it right now, but I'm sure if you give it time, he'll become acclimated.
Can I use an AP and roll a D8 for calm heart?
Sure.
Cool.
Use the AP. Oh yeah. On a 3, yeah, it definitely seems to be. Doesn't seem to be about it right now, but it's something that may take time.
We'll get there, little buddy. We'll get there. My little bird. friend.
Nice. With everyone with their foraged goods in tow, you begin heading back up north along the path, leaving that small thicket of woods and trees behind you. Heading north again along the barely beaten, trodden path. The green, sweeping plains out before you. Again, cloudy, overcast, with the dark dotting of darker clouds lining the horizon. Walking at this rate, you suspect it would probably be, still a couple of hours before you arrive at your destination. So as your characters, start walking, you're playing a bit of one of the tunes that you learned. Actually, if you want to play Sweeping Song, I'll give everyone a +1 to add to their speed roll to see as far as getting to your destination.
Nice.
Sick.
A 5. Nice. So that's enough to give everyone a +1 to a D6 to roll for speed. As if, we'll say started out with Drum and Sprinkles walking ahead of the quartet. And then it was where Sprinkles was like trying to get out to be a step ahead of Drum. And the Drum was like stepping a little faster to get a step ahead of where Sprinkles is walking. And then they start walking faster. And before you know it, everyone's broke out into a run, racing up the path as fast as they can. Everyone roll a D6. And it'll add a +1.
Since we're in a plains, can I fly over them, listening to them?
That's what the right
You can still only, you can run and try to jump with your wings extended.
like a little low point, like glide.
2 + 1, that's a 3. 4 + 1, that's a 5.
It's okay. I was just kidding.
2 + 1, that's a 3. So you ran slightly off in the grass.
Is Riston one?
2 + 1. If you want to roll for a Riston, you can. Riston's still with you. 2 + 1. Dang, so the 4 + 1 was the fastest. I'll give you a rave point for your fleet feet.
Nice.
And as the 4 of you are just kind of running ahead, laughing and like, ha ha, like, you slow pokes, and, carrying on, and you've ran off into the grass a little bit, and everyone's just kind of laughing and, enjoying the feeling of kind of running in the open, wind rustling around you and your heart pumping as your body's moving. But then as you come up to a bit of a clearing, you stop. Right there on the beaten path are people. There's 4 of them. Two of them look to be tall-looking, scarred, ogreish folk with no shirts, leather baldricks over their chests with swords on the back. One has a big earring in his ear. They look rough. Another one is an elf fellow. Again, a dirty-looking, dark-set guy with darker cloak, and he has what looks like a bow over his shoulder. And the fourth one in the front of them all, standing there sneering, is a short fellow, must be a halfling. Greasy black hair, dark eyes, dark-set expression. The four of them just standing there as you come running up over this small bit of a rise to the spot in the path. And as you stop, the four of them are kind of looking at you. One of the ogre fellows, puts up his sword over his shoulder and goes, "Huh, look what we have here. Couple of travelers." The little halfling fellow in front of them chuckles and goes, "Ha, they're traveling into a wrong spot of the countryside today." He's like, "So, boys, you can leave all your stuff on the ground and walk away, or it's going to have to get messy."
Guys, wait a minute. We should leave our stuff on the ground and then
Can I really want to just walk right directly up to them because I'm wearing a blindfold. I don't want to walk right up to them and just punch them real hard. Because it's two of them, right?
Four.
Four of them. It's each one. Each one. I think we should all just walk up to
As
them
soon
and
as you
start
punch
beating
it, I'll shoot an arrow.
Well, as soon as the four of you square up against these four seemingly raiders that have been waiting for travelers to come along to pillage and take their goods or even take their lives, as the four of you square up and size up against them, we're gonna take a brief intermission right there. We stop taking a necessities break. We're right at the 2-hour mark. So this encounter between our four adventurers and this quartet of raiders will take place right after the intermission. We'll be back in just a few.
I want the experience.
Maybe we will.
Oh, you get a decent.
If it'll let me switch to the-
experience for killing these four.
we kill Risky.
Probably at least level 2. uses of plant poison,
Good lord almighty.
and so she can put that on her dagger to poison it.
Hey, now you're making them work.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna do.
I'm gonna give her a short.
Because she is not an object and she is a friend, I'm going to put items. You all can write down what you're putting to her. And as soon as we get out of this, I'm gonna give it back to him, and she's gonna join our company.
I mean, can we just say that she automatically applies the poison to the dagger, and the dagger becomes
I don't know. That's kind of a specific thing. You might want to chill.
I mean, I have extra. It's like she can have a dagger
You put
or a
the
poison
on the
dagger.
dagger.
I'll do it. I'll poison it. Give me the dagger first, and I'll poison it right in there.
I'm gonna give her.
Oh, welcome back.
dagger
Welcome
We're
back.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
and HP
Laying out a
for-
strategy, planning a battle formation here as they were walking along this path towards their northern destination, when they will be set upon
You want to
by
do a short bow.
by 4 raiders, road thieves, bandits, to call them anything else. Welcome back to StevieMillPlays. Finishing up this session as they're heading north from Shimmerset Lake and the Scholar's Recluse up to Shore Report. They were merrily along their way, doing some foraging and traveling along, when they were be set upon by literal bandits. 2 ogreish fellows, some kind of halfling, shady-looking halfling rogue fellow, and some kind of an elf, shifty-looking elf archer. And so as the halfling sneered at them and said, "Leave all your stuff here, and you all can leave, or else it's gonna get messy." You what's the word? You audibly scoff.
I tell them they're about to have a Zoopindus day.
I'm just gonna go. Whee!
I start
As I run over
playing
and
the
start
approach.
punching her. Hey.
Nice.
Yeah, go ahead and play it. Give us all a little.
Nice with a 6.
Nice.
Playing that that if your next rolls next turn are an attack, it will get a +1.
Oh, dude, I'm doing that.
So as you're already back here, and we'll say this is the back line, and this is some semblance of a front line, with the 4 raiders advancing on you. Halfling fellow and the 2 ogres were right here, with this elf archer a little further down the path in the back. Agility 6 would go first, so you'd play that song, strumming it.
And then I'll use Predate Dart to push through their front line.
Dart 10, 20, 30. Go ahead and roll it. You have to roll pretty high to get all the way across. And once you get close enough, they're gonna be close enough to take actions on you. All right, 3. So that's enough for you to get to as you know, as Irving was drawing his weapon out, using his senses to scan the battlefield before him, and Sprinkles is right here, drawing out his weapons, letting out a cat-like snarl over his face. Out from between the two of them, whoosh! Rushes Slippy, landing about 4 feet out in front of them and coming to a sliding stop. This elf archer, who also has agility 6, who was knocking a couple of arrows on his bow, just draws them back as you were dashing forward and lets all 3 of them fly. You can roll a d6 to evade, but because he's using a special tri-shot skill, he's going to roll 3 d6s. Huh, your evasion roll broke the tower. The power of your ultra instinct.
Destruction.
The dodge roll is a 4. Each arrow roll is a 1, a 4. The 3 knocked the 4 into a 6. One of them is a 6. Roll it again. So of the 3 arrows, You stop, and as you try to twist your body out of the way, one sails off this way, one barely misses over the top of your head, sailing off this way. With the third one of the line, you feel a thunk at the bottom of where your chest plate stops. Thunk right at the bottom. It's 1d6 damage. It's 3 damage. So as he bravely, Slippy, dashed out in front of you, you heard that thunk and whistle of arrows, and Slippy, you can tell, you don't even have to see it to tell that he definitely got hit with an arrow right in front of you. Coming around to the next, speed 6. There's 1, 2, 3 more characters that have speed 6. So which one?
I have speed 6.
Okay.
Can I use my would my aqua longbow give me an advantage to hitting him all the way in the back?
It is a longbow. I mean, you're at such short range. Any bow will be fine. The longbow is really meant for considerably mid to long range distances.
Okay, then I would just use my cypress shock bow.
Lining up your shot at who?
The archer in the back.
This one in the back.
Ranger.
Okay. A 3. You know, as soon as you see the arrow thunk into Slippy, you instantly draw your bow up, lining it up to his chest. As soon as it lets go, that familiar crackle and sparkle of electric magic dancing off the tip of the arrow as it covers the distance in a heartbeat. Ooh, he hit a 1. He had his bow out, and so it went to hit him in the chest, but instead it clambers all over his bow, breaking it, splintering it all in his hands. Letting out a frustrated cry, he's like, ah, as you broke his bow into splintering electric magic dancing off the string and off of the pieces, and it falls around him. As he's reaching into his inventory to pull out what is probably a backup bow, that's going to turn him sideways while he's rummaging, and that's going to cost more of his turn points, to say it that way. That was one shot. But now, seeing that happen, this halfling rogue, you know, because you're right out there in front of him, he's gonna act like he's gonna dart this direction over on your left to where Irving is poised. But at the last second, he reels around with a stabbing motion, bringing it right around at the top of you as if to strike you with a 4. A 4. You back up just enough to where it glances off the front of your chest plate of armor, and so he's right in front of you after doing his attack. Now it's going to be your action.
All right, so this guy that just ran up and tried to stab him.
It's a halfling rogue, yeah.
Yep. Is he within air snap distance?
Yeah, that's less than 10 feet, so you just have to move forward a step.
Cool. I think I'm gonna do that and see if I can try to spend 4 and do like a 1-2 combo, like try to air snap.
Nice.
Yeah. Yes. 4 AP. And run up and swing at him. That'd be a D6 and a D6.
3. So your first attack, I mean, not expecting it. Say, he hit a 4
Ooh, 4.
and a 1.
Dang.
But because air snap has that additional effect, what happens is you went to lunge forward in a punch. Instinctively, he almost seems to reel back, slouching out of the way, stepping a half step away from you. But your air snap, because as soon as you whip out your fist, there's a snap of air out ahead of it. It's still enough to strike him on the side of his body, pushing him back even further. That surprised him as he stumbles just a little bit. That'll give you another attack of opportunity.
The dagger.
So the 4, his reaction is a 1. As your dagger hits him, because you're a little lower, but his body's lower. So your straight out dagger attack was going to sink right into his stomach. Whatever armor he seems to have on underneath seems to cause the blow to graze away, but it still sinks in, and you feel it scrape against skin, as it must open up a wound underneath. He lets out a hard grunt and goes to stumble away even further, covering up his wound defensively. So you've got him on the defensive. That will come around to. You do have some turn left over, but because you were directly adjacent, sort of watching arrows get fired back and forth, and now they're sort of lunging in the center of the path towards each other, striking and getting into position to attack each other. So as you're kind of stepping around where where Sprinkles is standing there with his bow, you already feel your magical energy sort of welling up as you're charging up your move.
I want to use Channel with the 3 AP, and I want to use a Fire Spin, so it'd be a 5 AP Fire Spin.
Nice.
I want to hit this guy through this guy.
Try to hit
So, like, I'm aiming for him,
right.
deliberately knowing that he's, like, collateral damage.
Nice. We'll line it up.
And remember, this is a 5 AP charge.
Are we playing metal music?
Yeah.
Nice.
Very cool.
Nice. On a 5, that was that for the channel? Or was that for the fire spin? Or the channel doesn't roll dice?
Yeah, no, the channel doesn't roll dice.
So on a 5 fire spin, 5 AP. It starts out as about 8 inches, but then it whoosh, as the flaming circle expands once, twice, 3, like 4 times more. So it's this 2.5 foot wide, disc of flame that you're holding out. Wide-eyed, this ogre fellow, clutching a sword at his waist. He's already kind of like crouching, poised, waiting to see what you're gonna do, as you hurl it, shoom, straight at him. Ooh, a 6 and a 6.
Oh, wow.
Sheesh.
Insane.
So he manages to dive forwards. It's barely scathing above his head as he gets underneath it, being able to continue rolling up to his feet. He, although he hit a 6, barely manages to get around with his backup bow in time. Seeing this flaming disc coming at him, he barely ducks out of the way, having to let go of the weapon to dive. The weapon gets caught up hopelessly in the fire spin as it engulfs it, breaking it, causing it to cinder and smoke as his backup bow is incinerated. He hits the ground as the flaming disc goes rushing past. He's continuing. Oh, wow!
Get
He
the
really
hell
did.
outta here.
He really did continue his forward motion, just as I was gonna say.
For a while.
Continuing his forward motion because he rolled a 6, he's gonna come up close enough to be able to, with his sword coming around, use a wide swinging strike at you towards your right side with a 5.
I have those metal studded gloves. Can I roll to just knock it away or something with them?
It is a sword, and the gloves are studded with metal pieces, but it's not totally metal. So on a high enough roll, you probably could do it, but on a low roll, it almost certainly just hit your hands and deal damage.
Yeah, I'll go for it. Yeah. D6.
Yeah. Letting out a feral growl,
A 6.
hitting a
Okay.
6. With your gloves on, you do an arcing downward punch so hard that it strikes the flat of the blade as it's coming at you. You timed it perfectly, knocking the weapon down, causing his body to stumble forward just a little bit. If you want to finish that part of your turn, he's close enough to where you can make it an attack of opportunity, and I'll give you a +1.
Guess I'll hit him with the shock bow.
Dang, at this range.
It's for medium to short range too.
He's stumbling forwards after he literally knocked his sword strike down. So lining up the bow at his back, rib cage in his back, you're within 5 feet. A 2.
No.
So you went to
You got +1.
and
It was 3.
oh, you're right. It was actually a 3, so it actually does hit him.
Okay.
You went to aim towards his midsection, but as soon as you let the arrow go, it went down low, hitting him in the thick, big section behind his leg. But as soon as it hits it, the electricity dances over his leg and strikes down into the ground as he lets out a yell, stumbling forward, as if trying to catch himself with the lightning coursing through his body, causing him to stiffen up from the impact. So he's going to be stumbling, falling forwards, and he's a big guy, and his level is... I can't give away what his level is. And he did take quite a bit of damage. But as he's stumbling forwards with the shock of the electricity hitting him, he hasn't yet been taken off his feet. I guess I'll say it that way. Now it comes around to... Well, you did one fire spin, and you're... Oh, and you dodged. So now it will come to... Oh, your agility is 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Cool deal. Think I'm gonna pull out my daggers this time and just run up and try to swipe him. You got the gust dagger and the rock dagger.
Oh, he's the slowest ogre, so he's gonna go last.
Cool.
He's like Rue. He's like a Rue in this game. He's just gonna go last.
But yeah, I'm gonna try and go for this guy with my
This halfling rogue.
Yep, with my gust and rock daggers.
Okay.
So D6 apiece, right?
Yep.
It's a 1. That sucks.
A 1. A 3 to dodge.
And a 4.
With a 3 to dodge. So, as he was reeling away, holding his rib from the attack that Slippy had just landed, you press the advantage, rushing in right to the left of Slippy. The first one, the rock dagger, as you swing, being a halfling, he was able to really just shirk his body down. Your attacks swing over by about a foot. But then the gust dagger, as you bring it in a downward, diagonal arcing strike, and he was turning his body away at the same time. The knife edge glances across his arms as he's turning. The wind effect hits him, and he stumbles. He flips so hard from the wind effect that his body slams into the ground and slides forward a foot. With him face down, a cut across his arms from the knife, and of course the wound in his side from Slippy's attack that's bleeding from under his armor. So he's down and prone, but not dead. So he's close enough now to where, again, he'll be able to take his action now. And he's got a bigger, heavier, wider bladed sword that has to be held in 2 hands. So as he, as you sliding in with your knife attacks, he's going to come kind of lunging overhead with it in 2 hands, just in a wide arcing strike. With a 6.
Oh my god.
A 6!
Hey! Let's freaking go.
No bonus? No bonus? No bonus. But flipping your weapon up to your hands, you get it up just in time. As soon as the blade strikes the shaft of your weapon, the force and the raw power behind the swing is enough to actually knock you back up and away, your feet leaving the ground for just a moment. He came around and went, whoo, clang. The force behind the swing was impressive as it stumbled you back. The sword following through, he's already sort of stepping over his friend as if he's kind of whirling around in another strike. I will say because of the momentum and the length of the blade, he's going to be able to try to get a sweeping strike towards your chest with a 3. A 3. Bringing up your mace again, you barely get it up in time again. The blade clangs against so forcefully, the mace about almost in your face. It's so close. So as the two of you are standing there, weapons locked against each other, it becomes Riston's turn. Will she study something on the battlefield?
Yeah, she'll just study something.
Did you get her to cast cold on this guy?
Oh wait a minute.
She'd have to get up to him.
I forgot y'all.
Oh, that's right. It's really close.
I think I don't know if you gave her arrows, but she has a
I
short
did. I
bow.
gave her 4 arrows.
Oh.
I didn't write that down.
Oh, I'm
Kind of
sorry.
in the way.
I didn't give her a short
Yeah,
bow, dagger.
studying will work on enemies on the battlefield.
Well, this guy over here, he's fighting with a 4-foot hammer or something like that. Like,
No,
that what you
it was a double-handed, almost like a thick claymore blade.
oh, like a big.
How many arrows are with the short bow?
4.
Okay. Well,
Because that's how many you gave me when you gave me the short bow.
you are correct.
I tried the south one.
Or you gave me 5, and then I
Yeah.
shot a couple. I bought 1 or something.
Well, Riston will take that short bow and fire a shot at this guy's head.
Okay, with Slippy here
Above
and Irving here, and because she's never fired a bow before, it's gonna be a 1d4.
This
Is it
makes
worth
me.
the risk?
Yeah, this makes me
How
rethink
far
our
can she
decision.
move in like one turn? Like
Oh well.
Yeah, because if she can move, then I
no,
would
she
prefer
can
to
move.
her here
She-
and hit him.
Oh, she
'Cause
can.
I just don't want to hit me.
She can move probably like as far as this way, this way, but she can also go over this way. So she could come over here if you wanted to try to line up. Then the worst that would happen is that she would hit you.
Well,
Risk it.
yeah, I'll take the risk. So yeah, I'd prefer her to move here and then take that short bow and aim at his head.
Okay. And as she, nervously, her hands trembling, knocking the arrow, as she runs, 5 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet to the left. That ogre was stumbling forward from the power of the attacks he was being hit with.
does she also get the +1?
It's the first attack.
Oh yeah, this is her first move and it is an attack. So it'll be a 1d4 + 1. She nervously, her hand shaking, brings the bow up. It takes all the strength she has to draw back the arrow tensely.
Come on.
Let's go, Riz.
A 3. A 3 + 1. A 3. A 3 + 1 is a 4. That's definitely enough. As she lets go of it for it to slam right into that ogre's stomach, boom, in its midsection. That causes it to stop and take a knee on its wounded knee, right? And so it's stopped, kneeling, sort of trembling from its wounds and maybe trying to find the will and the strength just to get up. Like it's trembling, trying to get its body back up. She says, "I got one."
Good stuff.
Yeah, we all just do a thumbs up at the same time.
Like all in the middle of fighting, it's like,
You're doing great, Riston.
Nice.
Now read your books. Be careful.
this isn't at all like it is in the books.
Yeah, that's why we had you fight them.
Yeah, the books don't bite back.
But these guys.
Nice. So she still does have a part of her turn, though she don't think she'd have the physical strength this turn to draw back another arrow. Will you attempt to study?
Yeah, 1d.
Okay. Pick an enemy on the battlefield.
I'll study the fellow with the
Okay.
ranger. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a great idea.
With a 6.
Nice.
Nice.
Well, she peers at him, studying him intently. He must be a level 5 elf archer, and he must have 21 out of 21 HP, and he must still have 10 out of 10 AP left.
Oh wow.
But he doesn't have his bows left anymore?
She can't look into his inventory. She can give you his species, class, level, max HP, current HP, max AP, current AP.
Dang.
That's awesome.
Is that like when she successfully studied once, or just to get new information, do we have to study again?
Yeah, if the HP goes down and you
Okay,
and you
a
and
couple
you
times.
study again, in the field it operates like an enemy scan ability. If she were to use it on you guys, she could see your stuff too. I guess.
Cool.
Yeah.
Riston, you're gonna be a valuable member of this team.
Already paying dividends.
Yeah.
So also then using it on an injured enemy will tell you how much HP they have generally left in their body. We're trying to equivocate their injuries to their max HP in that sense. So, but that's all she can do for her turn, right? As she, exhaustedly steps back just a little bit, trying to get her trembling hands to knock an arrow, but they're already tired, so she's like having trouble doing it. But that does reset the turn order back to the good old agility 6s. He is going to scramble back up to his feet and realize that he has no bows in his inventory. Frustrated, he rummages through his inventory and pulls out a medium-sized, just a regular-looking copper sword, right? Shink! He draws it out. If you were close enough, you would hear him muttering something under his breath. As reaching into his pocket to grab something, he starts striding forwards, his sword in his other hand, like he's holding it low. Reaching behind him in a pouch if he's reaching for something. We're going to say with his movements and getting out his weapon, he's going to get this close. Seeing to where he got knocked back a step. Seeing to where I guess Slippy is the closest. He's going to taking one of the arrows out of his quiver. He's actually going to just at this close range just throw it at you. It's only going to be thrown at you with a 1d4. Well, you can roll a 1d6 to evade it. A 3.
Mock him while he's doing that. I'm like, wow, your bows.
A 1.
Oh no.
Ooh. It does strike you, but and it does only cause a grazing effect as he threw it at such close range. But it does graze across you. But there must have been something about that arrow, because as soon as it cuts across your skin, and after a moment, you suddenly break out into a sweat. You feel nauseous, dizzy for just a moment. You have to re-steady yourself. You let out a hard breath. Ugh, you feel sick.
I'm slipping.
Slippy. No.
So we'll say that afflicted you with the poison status.
Hey, I want that poison.
Well, the arrow did glance off of him, and it landed over here somewhere, I suppose. But he walked forward, he got his weapon out, threw it. That's going to end his turn. So the next agility 6.
Yeah, I have agility 6.
Okay.
Who went first?
Oh.
You did when you played the song?
Oh, yeah.
I can go first now. I'm just gonna shoot that guy with that shock arrow.
Which guy?
The ranger.
Okay. The bowless archer.
Yeah. More like a rogue now, I guess. He doesn't. More ranger than he is.
A 2.
Wait, I don't know why.
Wait, why'd you roll the D8?
Uh,
Why are you trying to juke us with these D8s?
He thought he was pickpocketing.
Look at him, trying to juke us again. Oh, 1.
Oh, no.
So, not another arrow, and it, because he was standing there with the sword, he was able to just tilt his body to the side. The arrow, the electricity crackling from it, sailing by him, casting you like a serious look, like he's surprised to see an arrow flying with magical energy. You can already see him as he's kind of poised, whether he's not sure he's going to attack or not, but he's already reaching behind into his quiver for some other kind of an arrow. But that was only one shot, so you get to fire another one.
Oh.
Or you can, again, assist him, or...
They got that guy. I'm gonna go for the wooden ranger here.
Okay. Wow.
Keep doing that.
Let's go. 5 that time. Nice. And with a 3, that's enough this time. Jeez, I'm gonna knock the tray over one time. That's enough for the attack to strike him in the arm. Thunk, the electricity, and you see his whole body quiver up and tremble from the force of it. He reaches up instinctively, grabbing the arrow as his body is shaking from the electricity. His sword hanging limply in his hand. He's stumbling backwards as if he's trying to pull the arrow out, but he seems to be having some difficulty because his whole body is trembling for just a moment from the electricity that hit him. Nice. Those 2 shots for your turn. So, next agility 6.
I'm gonna go to that guy and use Predator Leech on him.
Predator Leech on who?
The archer.
Okay.
With no bows.
Okay.
I've just been standing in the same spot the entire fight. Shooting arrows. I've not moved once.
Holding the line. A 1. As you attempt to hop once and then hop at him, he'll roll a 1d4 as he's stunned. Hitting a 2, he stumbles back, still clutching his wound as you land just in front of him. Because you're close enough to this one, again with his long, wide-edged claymore sword, he's gonna whip it around once, and Irving is standing in front to where when he's bringing it around, Irving is still back enough to where he's not advancing, around in a wide arcing strike, right down straight on top of you, with a 5. A 4. So you do, as you attempt to dodge hard out of the way, the edge of the blade, because it's so long, clips you. You take 1d4 damage. Take 3 damage. Clamoring in this direction, you're weakly hobbling. He's stumbling back, trying to remove the arrow. You're stumbling in this direction. He's in his after swing. Agility 6. He is going to roll to if you were standing over him or near him, you would hear the hungry crunching of what must be a healing herb from his inventory. As he instantly, he seems to be well enough to where he can kind of stand up. His wound's not healed, but he recovers somewhat, and it makes his body feel better. He can stand up, and turning around, he just in time to see his ogre friend swing his weapon around in a wide arc. So he is going to stalk around in this direction towards where Irving was standing back, just narrowly dodging that ogre's attack. With a 1, he'll only get half. Ones. With a 1, it'll bring him within range of where you're standing, poised and ready to strike. But now it comes down to the next agility 6. Go ahead.
This guy that ran straight up.
So
to
you
me,
can't
I'm
see. So you had to step back as you were advancing.
Yeah.
Once as that wide swipe, as he was in mid swing, swinging past you. But now as you're advancing again, daggers out, you hear the light stepping motion of what must be that halfling. You can smell him; he's oily smelling. You can hear the light pattering of his feet in the grass as he's shifting along, trying to advance towards you. So you can hear him.
Cool. I want to.
Even with his quiet hobbit feet.
His hearing is out trumps in this.
Right. I probably couldn't hear it.
I want to use 1 AP and use Talon Dive on him.
It only costs 1 AP.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Dang.
Yeah, 1 AP, 1d6, and 1d4.
I have to nerf that. But go ahead. No, I didn't mean that. Just thinking about this. This might be too good.
That is pretty dang strong.
For the low price of 1 AP.
Yeah. Alright, and then a
1.23.
d6.
Right.
That was a 3 AP.
For a 1d6 and a 1d4.
Yeah, that's a
A
3.
3. And a 4. Rolled again. 3.
Smash.
A 4. So you faint like you're gonna go off in this direction, and hop hard off your right foot, your wings fluttering out. And there's a moment where, this hobbit rogue is like, oh, because your wings flutter out dramatically. You then let out a streaking, taloning dive straight at him, daggers out. He twists his body so that, because he rolled the exact same number, he twists his body so that you do slam into him. But both daggers go wide on one side and wide on the other. As his body slams into your body, your heads do knock into each other, and you both take 1d4. You both take 3 damage. Oof. As your heads knock into each other, you go sprawling out into the grass, and you're both, I guess, for just a moment, you're just like, you hit that ring in your ears.
Can I roll to headbutt him again?
A roll to get to your senses.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
A 6. Roll again.
Hey.
A 5. But that's enough for you to, getting to your senses first, get up to a sitting position, feeling out, you can feel the edge of his cloak. So scrambling your body over, you try to roll over to get the upper hand. It's 1d4. A 1. You actually find yourself kind of lied out over the top of him, scrambling to get a better position. You can already feel your arm over his hand as if he's pulling it out, and you can already hear the sh of steel if he's trying to draw a weapon. But that is where your turn will end, as you're tussling on the ground after the Talon dive. Now it comes around to the agility 5s. Would be his, maybe, but he's so hurt and injured, and he's so incredibly wounded that in one desperate attempt, he's going to, because you're so close, just flail his weapon out behind him to try and hit you. You can roll a 1d6 to evade his 4. Roll it again. What's a 4?
You got 2 4s?
No, I got a 4 and a 3. A 5. Yeah, easily with your metal gloves, with a back fist, you slam it away. It was like a haphazard attack anyways. But that now gives you an attack of opportunity.
Well, I have 2 steel longswords. I would like to equip one in each hand.
Okay.
And then I want to do a move where it's like a slash and then stab with the right.
Okay. Roll 1d6, and if it's successful enough, then you can do the second one. With 3, you'll because they're a little heavier than you were thinking. Strength check.
4.
Oh, so you're bringing one around like this. You have to heft it, and that one does hit him straight across the back of his neck, really. As his whole body spins around and falls sideways onto the ground, leaking blood. That was, as you swung it around so hard, and the sword is kind of heavy. So as you bring it back around, I mean, he's not moving, kind of rolling weakly, not getting up. And that was all the 6s, and that was all the 5s. So now it comes to agility 4s.
I'm at 3.
Okay, so that is this. He goes last. They already went. He already went.
Does she not get an agility, dude?
Oh, she goes after. She goes after them.
Okay.
She was last in the turn order. We're gonna say that he is gonna roll to attempt to finally get this arrow out of his arm. A 5. Yeah, letting out a yell and a cry. He pulls it out, blood gushing out from the wound. Throwing the arrow down. He says, "Oh, they want to use arrows." Turning a little bit, he locks eyes with you directly. You see he's got a couple of arrows, and if you're peering, you see that they're all different colors, and he's holding them all in a stabbing position. His other sword weakly hanging in his hand. It's bleeding blood. So as he's moving towards you with that arm out in front of him, you can see he's just holding these arrows behind him, shifting towards you as if he's going to stab you with them. Yes, but that no, because you're not really close enough. Though it does bring it within range of you, and so as he's shifting past you, he appears to be paying no attention to you at all. Will you take an action on him?
Can I attempt to trip him?
You can. It'll be affected because you're poisoned. So your whole body still feels like it's swooning with nausea, and you just feel sick and a little lightheaded. But he's literally shifting past you, and you can see that he's literally clutching what look like a bunch of different colored arrows in his hands. So, you're just like, go ahead and take your action. What would you want to do?
I want to attempt to trip him.
Okay. Oh, you go ahead. I don't want to. A 5. Well, even a 5 with a -1 is a 4. So as you just put your attempt to trip him, you do. He was sliding forward like this, and so stumbling now, he's going to, in a last-ditch attempt, lunge his body where Sprinkles is standing, hoisting all the arrows out in a one stabbing attempt to stab you with all of them. He rolled a 5.
Does he
Yeah.
get negatives because he's getting tripped?
That was his last ditch. He was actually stalking towards him, plotting to do it, but then because he stumbled, he had to try to take advantage, and he lunged forward with a 5. But he can. But if this misses, he's literally gonna fall on his face.
Okay. I'll just roll
5. So instead of stepping back, you lunge in, reaching up with your forearm and grabbing his arm with the arrows like this, inches from your face, and you're just boom as you caught his full weight. His other arm, hanging weakly behind him, still clutching his sword, oozing out blood. So there's that moment where the two of you are locked, like this, to where his sweaty face, dirty and disheveled, is just glaring hatred at you as he's trying his best to stab this handful of different colored, dangerously tipped arrows right into your eyes.
I don't even blink.
Wow. Wow. Not even stealing away. You just look at him like. That will cause. Last. He's him goes and then Riston. And so, swinging around in another wide arc again, he's just whirling the blade around like a slow spinning circle, causing his body to step forward from the weight of it. Because you're directly in his line of path, he's going to bring it down again in a straight diagonal slashing motion with a 3. A 1. As you try to dart out of the way again, its diagonal slice catches you as you were bouncing up, causing you to almost do a half bit of a spin in the air, landing on your side. You take 1d6 damage. You take 5 damage. Again, weak with poison, you find yourself stumbling to one side, coughing up something. So that's going to be Riston's turn.
That guy's dead.
On the ground, incapacitated, not getting back up, but not really dead. It would take part of someone else's turn to finish it.
Could she just walk up to him, and then just stab him with the dagger?
It'll be the first time she's ever done anything like that in her life.
Should she use cold?
She's gonna have to get used to it eventually. I mean, she's gotta be a cold-blooded killer from the get-go. So yeah, just have her walk right up to him, take the dagger, and just right in the back of the head.
Okay. Then roll her d6. Riston rolls a 1. As she gets halfway there and stops, the knife trembling in her hands.
Makes sense. This is, your first
It's okay.
kill.
It ain't easy.
Yeah, your first kill. It's got to be at least more than one round. That's fair.
I understand.
Does she still have? Can she study with another action?
Yes. What will you study?
Or can she shoot a bow with another?
The art of murder.
Not with a knife in her hands like this.
With her other action, can she use the plant poison? Can she put that on the dagger?
It's ground up plant poison. Something I got.
Oh,
ground it up.
yeah.
I gave her 1 serving of it.
Again, because she's never done it, roll a d6, and if she rolls a 1, she may end up cutting herself.
Oh, cool.
A 2.
Well.
She barely manages to get a bit of the dust from the poison onto the blade, nervously spilling a little bit while she's doing it.
Alright. Well, then I guess it's ready for her next turn.
Nice. So that resets the turn order. Coming back around to the agility 6s.
Do you want me to go first? Or I get the guy off me. I have 2 options.
Yeah, this guy here that's swinging the weapon around in wide arcs has just been hounding Slippy for some turns.
I have 2 options. I kind of want to maybe pickpocket the arrows out of his hand. Can I do that? And if not,
You wouldn't really choose what you get in that sense if you pickpocket because you're stealing an item.
if I do lunging stab, and I get an 8, can I choose the arrow? Can I, stab?
The lunge would be you trying to overpower him in this lockup that you're in right now with him.
Lunging stab?
Yeah, because you'd be lunging forward, trying to overpower him, right?
I guess so. And if I get the 8, I get the pickpocket.
That is true. Go ahead. A 4 and a 5.
Oh.
You do the lunging stab, pushing your body forward, with all your coiled up leg strength. Took my spit. It does cause you to lunge forward on top of him, slamming him into the ground forcefully. Unfortunately, though, because he was holding the arrows and they slammed down, one of them grazed your arm. You take 1 damage. But because the arrow that you saw, and instantly you see where the blood is welling up on your arm, some of red dust or red powder sprinkled on it. Instantly you take a deep breath as suddenly you feel a red haze come over your vision. As suddenly you feel angry for some reason. Horrendously angry. You're in some sort of a red tinted stupor where during these turns until it fades, the only action you can take is a basic attack.
Can I use my cat-like fangs to bite his neck? I'm on top of him. I go savage.
You can.
The way a cat would catch a rabbit.
Again, you can only now that you're affected with the berserk status. If you're rolling any dice to do anything, it's only for a basic attack.
Does a bite a basic attack?
Just roll d6. Enraged, frothing at the mouth, you start scratching, clawing, and biting at him. With a 5, he gets his arm up in the way, and the cuff of his sleeve is catching your teeth as you're gnashing, scratching, trying to get over his eyes and onto his face.
Does dust start kicking up around them?
They're kind of in the grass. They're rolling on the grass over here. I'm sorry, no, they're in. Yeah, there is a little section of dirt around them, but it isn't enough to where it's going to kick any up. And now you're frothing at the mouth, scratching at his face, and he's rolling around trying to block his face. It's going to go to the next agility 6. And you're afflicted with a berserk status.
Might start attacking you.
We're gonna cast heal on myself.
Okay. Wait, do you have Purify? Or am I thinking about somebody else's character?
No, I just have heal.
Okay.
I have Purify
Do you?
in my other character.
On this one?
Branch.
A 6 on heal. Roll it again. A 2. So you heal 6 HP. Uttering the slime word for heal, you instantly feel better as your wounds close up and some of your strength returns. It doesn't get rid of the poison status though, as you don't take HP damage from the status effect, but it occasionally causes negative ones, and you roll lower dice sometimes, and because it affects your body's movements, and you just feel sick and overall sluggish. But that was one spell. You can cast another. You do another action.
I'll just drink an AP potion now.
Okay. Does it heal? Coughs the potion.
Was it 10 AP?
Yeah. Nice. Rejuvenates the character. It goes on to the next agility 6.
Okay. So I'm still on the
Rolling
ground
around.
with this guy.
You got covered over half on top of him, scrambling. You can tell from the way your body's on him that he's trying to pull a dagger out of a hilt because his back is down the ground. He can't get it out because your arm is blocking it. And his legs are scrambling and his arms are scrambling as he's trying desperately to get out from underneath you.
Can I try and air snap with a headbutt?
It has to come from your hands.
Makes sense. Can I try and break his arm with an air snap? That would give him a chance to pull it out. I don't want to do that. I don't know. I'm just gonna try and keep his hands wrangled for now. I don't really. Well, I've still got my left hand open though, right?
Yeah.
I'll take the. I think the gust dagger was in my left hand, and I'll try and, stab him.
Okay, D6.
Sick.
With the gust dagger, we rolled a 4.
Not sick.
A second 4.
No.
A third 4. You flipping the gust dagger around, you went to drive it down directly on him. His other hand came up to block it defensively, and the skill must have triggered because he hit your wrist so hard that it knocked the blade from your grasp, to which he then, in a strange twisting motion, ends up with your gust blade in his hand in the stabbing position. Grabbing taking his hand off his other knife belt and grabbing your hand, he then drags it along the inside of your underarm like this. You take 1 damage, but as soon as the wind effect from the gust blade hits you, you feel a brief little push as it pushes you enough off of him to where he can wriggle to get free. He's scrambling away with your gust blade.
He ain't going nowhere. Do I have enough time to go after?
Yeah, take one more action.
Nice. I'm going to talon dive on him crawling away.
Okay. So, again, getting up, the blood is welling down from under your feathers from that cut he left under your arm. Getting up, clutching it, you see him scrambling away, still holding your knife, as if he's scrambling away, about to get to his feet. Go ahead.
Alright. Talon dive 1. Yeah, that's right. And a D6.
3 into the D4. Hit 2. So you only leap up about 3 feet.
That's another 4.
You got 2 4?
Yeah.
Roll it again?
That's 2. That's 2.
Huh?
That was a 2. Oh, you rolled a D4.
Oh, I'm dumb. Yep. That was a 2. I just can't see.
Hopping up just about 2 feet, you then plunge yourself down over the back of him, the rock dagger slamming right into his back. He lets out a yelp, letting go of your dagger, skittering in the grass. But as soon as that rock dagger sinks into him, the trembling effect happens, and you hear his body shiver up from the magic going through his body and his internal organs. His blood wells up out of his mouth, and he falls forwards, dead.
Oh.
So you're just kind of standing there over his body, right, reeling from that attack. So it'll go down. There are any agility 6s. This bowless archer that you've got pinned down is going to try desperately again to gouge your eyes in an attempt to get you to pry you off of him. Rolling a 6. Remember, if you roll, you can only attempt a basic action.
So I can't use skills.
No. Roll bonus. A 2, but it's a 6. It's a 6. So you can attempt to, I guess, counter with a basic attack.
I'm trying to bite his neck again. Trying to tear its jugular.
A 6.
Oh, yeah.
Roll it again.
Let's go.
So, clearly he hasn't really fought Khajiits before, because as he reaches up to grab and rake over your eyes, you instinctively, with your feline mouth, clamp out and clamp onto his wrist as hard as you can with your teeth. He lets out a huge yell and a shout as he goes to reel his hand back on the ground, as if he's going to punch your face to get you off of his wrist. But you then do it with a pulling motion, pull his hand away, and blood is leaking down his wrist at this point. So his attack goes a little short, hitting you across the jaw and dealing one damage. But it wasn't nearly as hard as it was intended. So now if you roll, you hit a 6, I'll give you another movement of opportunity, but it can only be a basic attack.
So, can I attempt to, since I'm biting his wrist, can I, obviously grab that one, let go, grab his other wrist, and attempt to bite his neck?
That,
Is it too complicated?
yeah, it'll only be a basic attack.
Just keep scratching.
Yeah, I'll try to scratch his eyes out.
Okay.
While I'm still biting down as hard as I can on his wrist.
A 1. You let go with your mouth, and as he tries to get his hand down and out of the way, blood leaking from the huge puncture dragging marks in his wrist, you instantly start scratching and scraping at his face, your claws extended. The first one catches him totally by surprise, raking long, already blood welling up from the lines across his face. Yelling and screaming and panicking, because now he's bloody and getting cut, he's attempting to roll over and get away from you by rolling over hard. And he rolls a 2. Roll a d6 to do a basic attack.
I'm going to bite him on the back of the neck.
A 2. You were attempting to claw and bite at him, but he does manage to kind of roll over half on his side as he's struggling to get away, as you're scratching, clawing, and biting.
Is this making all the sounds that
Yeah, you're and he's going, ah! Agility
Blade.
6. Go ahead. He because his turn, when his turn comes around, you can already see him prepping his blade up to start swinging it again towards something
Which
within
view
his
you at?
within his view.
On and on.
Living on the edge.
I'm gonna attempt to use predate because he's swinging his blade like that.
Mhm.
I'm gonna attempt to jump over the blade and onto him.
So you
using predate bound.
nice. Okay.
Oh.
You are within range. Ooh, that's a 7. So waiting for him to swing his attack around. When he finally does, no matter what he rolls on the d6, you're going to avoid it with the 7. Is you bound straight up and out to where he's even looking up now. Your body's right over, about to land straight on top of him. Do you want to just land on his face and chest?
Mm.
Slamming on top of him, he stumbles back a little bit, not letting go of his weapon, but off balance as he's stumbling backwards.
Can I attempt predate predator zombie on him now?
He's you have what? Is it a skill you already have?
Mhm.
What's it called?
Predator zombie. It's the leech move.
Oh, nice. Go ahead. Hmm. 5, nice. Because you're already on top of him. Using that move attempts to suck out the life energy. So you do draw out 2 HP. You gain 2 HP. His whole body, shrivels up for just a moment as you slowly, suck health from him. He lets out a low, like a, still staggering backwards. He's going to attempt to pivot on a 4, causing you to kind of just go sliding and falling off, landing on the other side of him because he stopped and just turned. So you, boof, land on this side of him. And you can even see in his temporarily weakened state that he's still, his arms both firmly grasped on his heavy greatsword, is already starting to dramatically bring it around as if beginning another strike. You did bound and leech, and you landed. You didn't take any damage, so it's gonna be that. So now it comes around to the next turn 6. I can't believe everyone in this group almost everyone is so blistering fast. It's not like the campaign.
Yeah, this one is a little bit more fast paced.
So
try and
you rising up from his, you recover your wind dagger and pull your dagger out of his back at the same time. Turning, you hear the heavy sound of Slippy wham into the dirt. You can go ahead and start your action. There's one here. Yeah, he's the only one that's really standing. He's got him to where he's mangling him on the ground. And so this is the last one. He just lost some health due to having some life energy sucked out, but otherwise he's been uninjured.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go for the less injured guy. I'm gonna just kind of run up to him and try to hit him with my daggers.
So, because of the nature of his swinging move and the range of it, you risk getting so close in. But roll a 1d6 if you're gonna just run in with daggers and attempt to strike.
Could I air snap him further than his distance? I mean, like his range.
It would be right at the edge. No, yeah, you definitely can on a higher roll. You definitely could.
Okay, I think I'm gonna try that just to keep it safe. Nah, man, I'm gonna run in and try and stab him.
Nice. All right, go ahead.
First dagger, rock dagger is a 1. Second dagger, gut dagger.
It is a 2. He hits a 4. So bring them both out. You were, attempting to close the distance as quickly as you can. But he's already brought the weapon around in such a high strike that as he brings it crashing down, you have barely enough time to get out of the way. But it does clip the bottom section of your wings, causing you to take 1d4 damage, and feathers to go 4 damage, and feathers to go blasting out.
My way.
Second 4. Dang, a 3. Whew. These bandits are proving to be somewhat formidable.
Yeah.
It's 11:57 if you want to get the thing ready for the D20s.
Oh, we can just.
Oh yeah, we can just freely roll them.
Yeah, that'll be at 11:59, doing minutes to midnight. But that does come around to your turn.
Well,
He's down, not moving. Down, not moving. Down, being subdued. This one's the only one that was back is to you, as he just launched a massive swing towards Irving. Barely missed him.
in a game of basketball, when there's less than a minute left, sometimes they'll just sit on the ball. I'm going to do that and wait and anticipate minutes to midnight.
So, coiling your energy, you slow down and everything stops.
Yeah.
This moment of time stretches beyond just a moment. This mere thought extends beyond the capability of what exists, as eternity itself seems boundless in front of you.
Nice.
T-minus 20 seconds. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. 5 seconds.
Minutes to midnight, y'all. We're going to see who can roll a 20 in the next 60 seconds.
Go.
8. Ooh, DM hits a 20. Let's go.
Oh, I got 10.
Let's go. Hasn't been many 20s. Did you get one?
Yeah, you got one.
Nice, another 20. As the seconds tick, who will get more 20s?
2 20s.
Nice.
Midnight.
3 20s.
Ooh.
Oh, I got one. The last
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So who got 120? Yeah, a single 20. I'll give you a mill roll. I'll let you roll 1d8 times 50 mil.
Hey. Do I get the same thing?
You got 2 though, right?
I got one.
Oh, you got just 1?
Yeah, Nehemiah. got
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead, definitely.
Me and mine got 3.
Oh, we got 3.
2
Shit.
times 50 is 100 mil. Go ahead.
D8, right?
Yeah. 5 times 50, 250 mil.
Yeah.
For getting 3? I'll give you a 5 shard.
Oh, yeah, dude. Whoa. I sold mine. Don't sell yours. It's way too useful. Or I sold one of them. I think I had 2 at some point.
They're a little
I
pricey.
have 1 free
Yeah.
shard.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
These shards are good for like D4 rolls, especially if it's for like rave points or something. Like,
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna match somebody too, it's good to keep on deck in case you want to match someone or match something.
Yeah.
So with that, your turn commences, and all of a sudden the sound rushes back in of the battle around you, and everything starts back up again in motion.
I'll turn around and look at Riston and I'll say, if you're not ready for your first kill, you don't have to be. I'll take the knife. And then I will just gently stab it into him.
So, taking it from her, you just turn around in one dramatic motion, your cloak billowing out behind you as you shunk, stab it in the side of the neck.
Nice.
does the poison do anything?
It was already pretty injured, and from all the damage it took and everything, so it's hard to tell.
I'm going to leave the knife and the 2 swords just sticking out of its corpse and just walk away from him.
Dang, well you can take more action this
Well,
turn.
I'll end up looting him later. But
You grabbed the knife, stabbed him, And then rising up from him, you turn and you see one more enemy here swinging his sword around wildly.
Can I shoot him
With what?
with my flaming bow?
Yeah, his back is to you, so roll 1d6.
Yeah, I would like to shoot him with my flaming rainbow.
Holding the arrow up.
Flaming rainbow.
A 6.
Let's
Hey.
go.
A 6.
Oh, dude.
Late
Three.
night, triple 6.
Ooh.
3.
Oh, dang.
But that's enough to where, as he was preparing for another wide, huge strike, all of a sudden from the back of his head just sprouts an arrow.
Nice.
The flaming arc behind it, barely having time to shoot in the back of his head. Finally letting go of the heavy great sword. It clangers to the dirt before he falls over to the burning arrow. That arrow was burned and destroyed.
Okay.
Just singeing from the back of his head. Kill shot.
Very cool.
So the last one left
Couldn't handle it.
is the one that Sprinkles has as he's trying to get over onto his back, covering his face as it's welling up in blood. Him now a bloody mess as you're raking claws and fangs over him.
Am I still in a berserk?
Yeah, this has only been the second turn, so yes.
Biting the claw. Maybe I can get his throat.
Oh
6.
my gosh, dude.
A
Keep
6.
him going.
Might be it.
It's a 1.
Oh, let's go.
Hey.
So as you paw scratching at his clothes, your claws sticking and pulling away from his robes, you get up on his head and scratch along the side of his head, causing him to cover up on the side of his head like this. Trying to wrangle his body back around, you have the wherewithal to reach down to your belt, grabbing, you have a knife, a dagger. You draw it up.
Form dagger.
You draw it up and you stab him once in the side. He goes to let out a sound, but no sound comes out. Just as you stab him out again, and you this time wrapping it around right into the barrel of his chest. Thunk. He doesn't make a sound again this time. Just a little blood spammers out as he just falls onto his back. The knife still sticking out of his chest. You draw it out and you continue to keep stabbing him.
Yes, that's what I want.
Over and over again. We'll say the berserk is going to last 3 turns. And so if the rest of you kind of stay away from him so he doesn't attack you, he'll continue just to do that for the next turn or so.
I cast Zap on Sprinkles.
Is
To
it-
calm him down.
This is the beginning of the 3rd turn, and so you can already feel yourself, as the poison is starting to fade and well away, you can already feel yourself starting to feel a little better. As you coming around, Sprinkles in some sort of bestial, berserking fury is stabbing that dead, bloody, mutilated body over and over again.
Actually, I'm just gonna use predate kick on Sprinkles to get him off of him.
Okay. Running up to him, you're already right there, so you cover the distance with a short step forwards, and with a 5, you kick him across his shoulder so hard that you take 2 damage, and you're knocked forcefully away, landing 5 feet away and sliding a bit in the grass. But as you get back up, that turn is going to end for you, and so it'll be the start of the 3rd turn next turn where you'll start to recover.
Okay. Why'd you kick me?
You're going a little zerk on him.
They're going crazy.
I'm gonna go zerk on you now.
But then that does finish the battle. Battle's concluded. All the enemies are dispatched. So everybody gains 32 experience.
Super.
8 experience per enemy, and those enemies can also be looted.
I wanna loot the ranger.
He said 32.
He does have a quiver of. He did pull out a handful that broke, but he has probably about 6 status arrows left.
How much experience was it?
32.
Very cool. I want to loot. This guy, the one that I was tumbling with.
Yeah, he was a halfling rogue, so he does have a black cloak, which for you you'd wear more like a waist level cape, but it's a black silk cape.
Cool.
He also had fine black boots. You don't really wear boots. but he has fine leather black boots. He has a fine studded knife belt that has like 4 nice knives in it.
Cool. I just want to take the nice knives and then give Sprinkles the rest of the stuff. See if he can wear it.
Do you want the ornate 4-sheath studded belt? It's got 4 sheaths in it.
Yeah.
Okay. He also had the company's. I shouldn't call them a company. He had the Bandits Mill in total, so everyone gets 100 mil.
Sick.
All right, Drum.
Appreciate it.
Do you want to loot the nearest enemy to you?
Yeah, I'll loot that guy. How much mil?
100 for a piece. So he seemed to have been. Do you want your 2 swords and your knife back?
I want.
Oh, don't forget to give her the experience too.
Yeah, there's not a. Is there a thing written for it?
Oh, sorry, let me see here. Right at her level.
And yeah, she can retain the dagger, and I'll take back the 2 swords.
He had a nice long curved, almost like a scimitar.
Oh, I'll take that for sure.
And the he didn't have armor, but it was like leather strappings that make a bit of a chest piece that go across your chest. So it's like a leather chest strap.
I'll have her take that.
Okay. And he also had what would be known as he had nice boots to say they were like hiking boots or like mountain walking boots. You can take those as well.
Yeah, I'll take those. Yeah.
And you want to search the fellow. Well, then you get his greatsword. He didn't have much else on him except for leather trousers and that huge, long greatsword. I mean, it's got like a 4.5 foot long blade.
Jeez.
Can I attempt to devour him?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it a D6, right?
D8. Ooh, a 2 actually, that does not succeed. You would have just gotten his swinging attack.
I'm still take the great sword.
Try the ranger. See if you can eat the ranger. Maybe you can get like a bow skill or something.
Yeah, I'll wait until he's done reading.
Oh yeah. As far as what else was on the archer, he wasn't even a ranger. His class was archer. And so he had, we'll say he had the group's healing items. He had like 4 healing herbs and like a healing potion.
I'll give everyone a healing herb.
Okay.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate
I'll
it.
take the potion.
His robes are mostly in bloody tatters, so that's not really much to take there.
Right.
Though he did have a green shirt.
A green shirt.
Yeah.
Is it ruined or?
No. His outer cloaking caught the majority of the blood and everything. The green shirt is fine. Might be good for a disguise.
Cool.
Nice. So with the enemies dispatched, the 5 of you can really continue on your way. And it isn't long after that you drag their bodies off onto the side of the road and leave them there for the buzzards. And about an hour after that, you can step over the bit of a grassy glade and look down and see the ocean again out in front of you. You've seen the southern ocean from this continent before, and now you're seeing the northern coast of it, really. And with the dark, looming storm clouds off the ocean's horizon, it's getting dark enough just to where it's, almost dusk. So with the 4 of you bounding down that the grassy glade with a little bit of a road there, it's hardly noticeable. It's hard to even call it a port. It's like 5 or 6 buildings all nestled up against the hill, and a stretch of maybe 50 feet of dock. And there's like 1 boat there now, and there's like a ferry, and then there's another wider boat that's got a bigger size ship that looks to be a bit of a cargo vessel. It's not straight up against the dock, it's flat up against it with a wide ramp. So as the 4 of you were advancing on it, you can already see what looks like a scribe down there. It's a goblin, taller goblin fellow, and he's got the scribe hat, and he's like jotting something on a parchment. And there's a couple of other guards around walking in front of the buildings here and there, and a guard over here way on this side of the docks looking out over the water. A couple of people fishing off the docks, but the sun is about to set. The sky growing dark, clouds again ominous. The wind from the ocean, as you stepped over now, sweeping, blowing some of the dust off you from the battle, invigorating you a little bit. It's a cool, crisp wind. But as you approach this wide ship set sideways, you can look and see another boat and a ferry and what must be like 5 buildings set up over there, one over the other, in this crude little port. Port is very little known. Something that the Forel said earlier is that this is more or less not used privately by the scholars or the recluse, but it's just very little people know about it or use it because there's nothing this far north but Shimmerset anyways, so it's very lightly used. The buildings over there must be the most basic of taverns with an inn that might have a room or two, and a couple very basic little shops, and a housing residence or two. Nothing to it at all.
Is there a blacksmith?
No.
Is,
But it's at the oh, go ahead.
They're not sailing at night.
Well, that you're not sure of. You would have to walk up and talk to the scribe.
I'll hop up to the scribe, let him know where you are, the Scions of Shimmerset. I'll play the lyre. This is our newly recruited friend, Riston. We here at Zupindus LLC were given passage at this port to head to. Where are we heading again?
It's Alrin port and across the ocean.
Rakapa.
So Rakapa, yeah.
Yeah.
So as soon as you mention scions of Shimmerset and that sort of thing, the scribe is like, yes. A falcon brought the message over an hour ago. Yes, there are 5 of you. It's like, you can go below decks. The cabin isn't the biggest, but you can sleep there for the night.
Before we take off, I would like to send Riston back to the company.
Okay, back to the caravan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
We could use her to deliver
I thought
we want the caravan
to meet up with it, but she'll be there traveling with it along the way, and that way she won't be on the ship with you guys because you're gonna be on the ship for a little while.
Yeah, and I don't want to risk her. So. Yeah.
So as the 4 of our adventurers, weary from the fight, climb up on the wide wooden ramp, and it's like a 3-tiered big cargo ship. So when he said below decks, as soon as you get up on there are stairs that go up to the main deck, and stairs that go down with rooms and hallways out in front of you. It's a big ship. Going down below to the cargo hold, you see that there are thickly strapped barrels and crates and boxes, tightly bound to the walls and the floors, so the rocking of the ship won't cause them to move. Going down the passageway to the end, there is 2 rooms that look like they might be sitting rooms. As you slide open one of the thin doors, it's one of the ones that kind of collapses as you open it. It is a very small room, like maybe 6 by 6. With a couple blankets strewn across. There's a porthole window that you can hear the crashing of the waves from the outside and the chirp and the scattering of seagulls, and the sounds of people getting underway. Apparently the ship is going to leave sometime soon before the sun comes up. So there's enough room in this tiny little 6 by 6 room for you to kind of take your blankets out of your backpacks and throw them over you, and kind of pick a wall and kind of scurry your body up against it, bedding down for the night. As after about 30 minutes or so of boarding people and getting ready, the ship brings up its ramp, and drifting away from the port, wind catching the sails, it drifts off into the night. And so when the session starts back up again, it'll be daytime, and you'll be able to go to the deck of the ship while it's traveling and do some fishing and do some sea things.
Very
So
cool.
that'll be something to look forward to next time. Though, one more side thing. Thousands of miles away, in what's called the Perilous Castle, Asik, the Dark General King, sits brooding in his empty throne room. It's dark stone walls and crisp set stone marble columns, letting every sound that's made echo off of its walls and chambers. The shriveling guard standing below him, looking down in fear at the bottom of his dais, is trembling as he was the one that had to give him the news that foul men had fallen. Asik stands up, his impressive 7-foot tall frame wide, and he has on his battle armor, which is black, intercleaved with a skull over the chest, and he's got his big battle sword at his hip. He's muttering to himself, saying, "Oh, there's no way. No way foul men had fallen. This is the illest of tidings. My easternmost general killed by whelps, commoners." And he throws the goblet he had in his hand down onto the ground, spilling drink everywhere. He says, "Begone from my sight, you fool." The guard instantly takes his leave, scoffing away from the silent room. Brooding, standing atop his throne, he looks out to the general that had been sitting there eating a meal at one of the tables. It's dark in the room, so the shadow is cast over his features. Asik puts his hand over his great dark battle sword, feeling its energy trembling from it. He says, "This is not good at all. Foul men cannot have been defeated so easily. We must stop this here. We must stop this now." You can't see his face because he's not stepped into the candlelight, but his voice, again, deep, bellowing, and almost feline, again in sound, echoes out through the chambers of the room. He says, "Yes, Asik," says, "you sent the wrong one to handle this task." He says, "You should have sent me and my armies. Let me sweep over them. My strategies will be more than enough." Asik's brow furrows as he says, "I cannot so easily send another general when one has so suddenly been lost." He says, his troops are in disarray. He says, I may lose territories because of this. Land, money. He says, I cannot allow this anymore. And now stepping up from the table, again, he's about 6.5 feet tall, broad-shouldered, but he's got orange fur striped in some spots with little white flecks. As he steps into the light, he's a cat, but he's much taller. He's not a Khajiit by any sense. He's more of a were-tiger sort of a fellow, with a big cat-like face, furred with fur. Wide, furry shoulders, big, huge, red, furred muscles. But he's got on noble-looking silver armor, clad in with medals and regalia all over the side of it. And he steps out and he clasps a hand over his chest, and he says, "Let me, Rill, the cat general and your greatest strategist, the tiger of the West, ride out to meet these opponents head-on in glorious, honorable battle." Asik says, "If the darkness cannot quell this threat to our lands, then I must send my greatest strategist. Go, Rill, and do not come back without a victory." Rill says, "It is your will, and it will be done." And that, as Rill takes his leave, is where we're going to leave it for tonight. Again, we really appreciate everyone for tuning in early, in the middle, or late, as they are now on a ship sailing away. so it's going to be all ocean and sailing and for a lot of the next episode. We encourage you to join in and catch some fish with us next time. And again, we really appreciate you guys. Go to the YouTube channel, StevieMillPlays. Subscribe and take a look. And we will see you
Next time.